And hello, ladies and gentlemen of the internet and of YouTube. Welcome back to Final Fantasy Chronicles of Eno. I am your host and game master, Skajarmas, otherwise known as Tone Shift, as always, and with me today, for the last time, we have our full cast of players. Watch together, please work with me here. The music room is lagging for me for some reason. With us today, we have our full cast of players. We have Hades Shadow 92 playing Thanatos. Our male human Dark Knight? ?
Can I be considered a Dark Knight anymore?
Maybe. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you still have access to all of your dark abilities. It's just that your split personality and fractured soul got mended. We have Lumina Starlight playing Rocket, the female cyborg chocobo warrior.
Hello.
We have Darkness playing Alistair, our male human paladin.
Hello, Kippo.
Okay. And we have Tom117Z playing Neothil, our female Elvon ranger.
So when do we invent the time machine so we can go back to session 1?
Never.
Well, that was definitive. That was definitive.
Tom, I just realized something.
Yeah?
It's finally happened.
What?
We nerfed Knee.
I still have Sharp Shot, technically.
You are still nerfed, so we are gleed.
I still have Sharp Shot, I just don't add an extra 10 to my dex every time I use it.
Well, either way, where last we left off, the Warriors of Light, as they were dubbed, had journeyed into the Tower of Creation, ascended to its summit, defeated their arch-nemesis Saranjun Leal after hearing the full extent of his motives and goals, and then in a climactic final confrontation, defeated Diabolos with some last-minute intervention and aid from the slowly fading goddess of rebirth, Phoenix. Following that, the goddess of rebirth gave the group a couple of boons. First, she mended Thanatos and Caius back into one being at Caius's request. She imbued Rocket with some fragment of her essence and power, which Rocket then refused to elaborate upon, much to everyone else's frustration. And then, with the last shreds of her power after saying goodbye to the other gods, Phoenix dispersed herself into the Amber, pouring out a flood of rejuvenative energy into the world, in place of the corruption and decay that the Amber had caused for such a long time. Following this, the gods, determining that their work was done, withdrew back to their own homes scattered across Eno to go into slumber and recoup the strength they had lost over the last year.
Except for Odin.
With the exception of Odin, who remained awake to stand vigil over his sleeping brethren and ensure nothing untoward befell the world from outside sources while they slept, and also did his part to bring the survivors of the final battle at the tower's base back to a rallying point so that they could begin the process of going home. There were several wounds and many, many dead, but after the party's efforts, the Amber Tide, as it will one day come to be known, was brought to its end. And thankfully, the overwhelming majority of the friends you'd made on your journey remained alive, albeit in varying states of disrepair.
The ironically named Invincible was smashed within minutes, apparently.
It was one of the last ones to go down, but yeah, it got wrecked. But all the same, that was 3 weeks ago.
Oh boy.
And in that time, it has been, ironically, considering you just killed the God of Chaos not 3 weeks ago, it has just been non-stop, hectic, and frantic scrambling. So many places suffered severe damage, other places were destroyed. A lot of lives were lost. And just trying to take head counts and make sure relief efforts are properly organized and helping refugees try and find shelter wherever they could, it's just been non-stop. And just traveling has been a pain. But eventually, after some last-minute work in Endlem, the group was pulled aside and told, take a break. You've all been running yourselves ragged for the better part of a year. You were basically ordered by Rania and several others, take a few days off, just go to the beach. And to the beach you went. And that is where we open up.
Who are
As
we
you-
dragging with us, though?
That is up to you all, ultimately. Do you want it to just be you, or do you bring other people with you?
Well, Kara's definitely got to come, right?
Yes. She was part of that whole skirmish.
Sure, she brought in that.
So
Yeah,
yes,
she's one of us, whether she get in the tower or not. So there's that. Definitely, Lee's going to attempt to bring Panara because her mother needs to lighten up.
make a negotiation check.
Yes.
So in other words, you're going to try to get rid of her pale...
I'm about to say
Exactly.
she needs some sun.
She did Dark Elf, a freaking drow equivalent. It doesn't work like that.
Sure it does.
You never know.
Also, we're bringing Athena.
She might be a...
Yes,
Yeah.
Athena. So
What-
so close to critical. No, so 12, 13, 14, 15.
15. It takes a bit of convincing, but eventually you manage to convince Panara to come with you to the beach, albeit on the condition that she keeps her robes on.
Deal, but I'm buying you an ice cream.
Yeah. You discover that apparently Panara is very self-conscious about her physical form, and so does not want to, wear swimwear on the beach.
It is an anime-themed franchise. We must have a beach episode.
Of course. But yes, either way, so,
Beach ball.
Anyone else?
following the
Come
command... Yep, oh, anyone else you want to invite?
Probably Athena.
Yeah.
Yep, okay, Athena pretty much invites herself.
Of course she does.
But, that's why I say pretty much Athena.
Imagine
comes out in-
Rania, I imagine, is still working off the fact that she's missing a leg.
Yeah,
Galala-
last you checked, Rania gave you the order to go take a vacation while her surgery to get a prosthetic leg was being scheduled.
She would definitely extend the offer to Skalala, though I have a feeling she won't go before Rania's there.
Yeah, Skalala politely declined, insisting that she wanted to stick with Rania to help Big Sis get her weight figured out when all's said and done. New leg, it can't be easy to work with.
Don't. Wait until I'm back, because I want to see her fall over.
I mean, hey, you know she's not gonna wait for that. She's gonna want to be spry and sprung as soon as you turn up, so someone's gotta be there to be the literal crutch for her to lean on until she's got that figured out, or she's just gonna hurt herself more.
I mean, it's gonna happen, you know.
Yeah.
He's always 2 steps ahead.
Yeah, trust me.
When the hell did you get here? This must be a locked room.
But yeah, either
And
way.
a game, of course.
So yeah, Skalala doesn't come along. Sounds like we've got the whole sort of assortment figured out then. The rest of the B team pretty much volunteers to take care of things themselves while you guys are relaxing. So
Yeah, Nabat definitely wouldn't come. Elizabeth,
Yeah, not in this lifetime.
Bane, I imagine, has gone straight back to her family.
yeah, believe it or
Bane?
not, Nabat is actually the one doing up the design for Ranio's prosthetic.
I can imagine that. But,
Okay, that's nice.
Well, I mean, Nabat has extensive experience in the field, so it only makes sense.
she
Yeah,
helped make
Yeah,
yours.
it does.
And she's trying to earn a fucking pardon, so
I
That
mean, with all she's done, she's pretty much earned it, in my book.
Yeah, fair. Plus, Sid is probably still nursing that concussion.
yeah.
Biggs and Wedge wouldn't leave Sid. I imagine he's also designing a new airship as soon as possible.
Most likely.
Yeah, Thane is probably gone back to Viala to be with her family.
Most
Yep.
likely.
All right.
So it looks like that's all we get.
The main group,
Kyra,
and then Athena
and you dragging Panara.
and Panara. All right,
You're
so
going to have. You haven't had fun in like what, ever? So come on.
What is fun?
fine, all right. Just don't expect me to put on a swimsuit. You have no idea how easy it is for this pale skin to sunburn.
Yeah, I was gonna say sun cream. Lots of it.
But either way, with your group thus decided, you eventually find yourselves in Costa del Sol, and there are signs of damage in the city, notably along the side that faces the Solitaria Bay, but it's relatively minor, mercifully. It seems that when the demons were passing through the region, Costa del Sol was too small and too far out of the way to be deemed a worthwhile target to the passing horde, so only like a handful of demons actually bothered to attack, so the damage is minimal, and most of the debris has already been cleared out.
Yet Costa del Terra was like destroyed.
Costa del Terra has been destroyed, and last you heard on that front, there were like refugees from there scattering to either Terno or Costa del Sol, depending on where they thought would make more sense to go.
The Dami checkpoint was also destroyed, but that's a military checkpoint, so that'll be remanned.
Yeah.
Quick.
Regardless, so you all find yourselves on the beach of Costa del Sol. Considering the fact that it is winter right now, like it is the equivalent of November, like the 23rd of November, it isn't like the hottest it could be, but you know, it's all right.
It's still tropics.
It's still
Even
the
in the
tropics,
winter.
so it's not like blistering hot, but it's pleasantly warm, and the fresh ocean breeze coming in is very nice.
It's the perfect beach weather if you live in the UK, so it's fine.
All right,
Doesn't
so
get much better.
I take that beach.
all right,
That's it.
so
I'll take that.
okay, so how do you all proceed then? Where are you at on the beach? This is your scene. Set the scene and do shit.
He is sunbathing with somewhere near Mika, whatever she's doing.
Okay, Mika is also sunbathing, just lying next to you. You two are like splayed out on a blanket on the sand. Thanatos, what are you doing?
Thanatos is returning from town with drinks.
All right.
Huh.
You're returning
I guess I
with,
bring the fruit then.
like martinis.
Like any kind of drink you could find and what they had, because I imagine they're still restocking everything.
Yeah, there's some restocking going on, but like you managed to like scrounge up a couple of martinis. So, and as you're turning up, you kind of glance over to one side, and you do indeed see Kyra sort of on the equivalent of on a beach chair, essentially. And it's just It's weird. You've never seen Kyra in a one-piece swimsuit before. It's not a thing you're used to seeing.
Of course, her eyes are up there.
He looks over to Nee. Wow, Nee. I'm not used to seeing you look like a girl.
Why, don't you remember that time back home where I wore the dress? You were very uncomfortable.
Eh.
From your side, Mika kind of rolls over and just wraps an arm around your tummy. Yes, my girl.
Always.
Kyra just kind of glances over at you as you're approaching. Yeah, my eyes are up here. So? Reaches up and takes one of the martinis.
And he glances over and guesses he should offer Mika and Nee.
Also, as an aside, Alistair, you're currently being buried in a sand pyramid by a very enthusiastic Athena.
Oh, never mind me bringing the food then.
We'll say you brought food a little earlier, and then Athena immediately started enveloping you in sand.
Oof.
So you're just kind of being held prisoner right now.
So, is this a Blue Mage courting ritual, or is this just normal?
Is it just me having fun?
Yeah.
Yep, it's all Athena.
She tucks a bit more sand around your neck, looks around for a second. Now, where's one more thing? Where's one more thing? Aha! She reaches down into the sand, withdraws a seashell, cracks it open, and puts it on top of your head, Alistair, takes a step back, and then does like the Will Smith showing off his wife pose and like, voila! King of the sand!
Thank you.
And what a reign he will have.
I'm
Long
the Sand
may he
Guardian,
reign.
Guardian of the Sand. Poseidon trembles before him.
Here's to that. Raise mouth and I'll give him beer.
And what's Rocket doing on the beach, or did she elect not to come on this trip?
I mean, it's not like she can wear a bikini comfortably.
That'll be more clothes than she normally wears.
Yeah,
So
Rocket
he's
doesn't
gonna
need to
say-
wear a big...
That
And
and
her and water don't necessarily get along that well. I mean,
you see, that's what I was under the impression. Rocket doesn't do water very well.
This is also the location of the Chocobo racing and like obstacle course.
Yeah, Rocket's not gonna be doing any racing in her condition.
You don't know that.
Yeah,
Fine.
I'm pretty sure Rocket has yet to inform you about the specifics.
I know, that was out of character. Either way, so Thanatos like, what happened to Banara?
Mika kind of lazily points back and behind her waist. She's over there, somewhere hiding under a palm tree.
I'll be back in a minute. Gonna get up and start marching towards her.
And sure enough, you see Panara hanging out under a palm tree. She does have the ice cream you gave her, kind of looking at it quizzically.
You know, it's not going to attack you. It's a food. You eat it.
I know that. It tastes very good. I've taken a few licks. I'm trying to figure out how the hell they made it.
It's kind of like milk and cream and frozen stuff. I don't know. Ask Mika. She's the not one.
Thanatos walks over. You don't have ice cream across the sea?
Considering the hostile terrain of Zalart, we usually had much more practical methods of feeding ourselves.
Well, I don't know if you noticed. This is Costa del Sol. Practicality kind of wasn't let in.
Yes, I noticed.
Now, we agreed that you got to wear the Amber Mage outfit, but that didn't mean you could hide behind a palm tree for the entire time and not be seen. We're here to have fun, and so you can either come have fun with us, or I will find a bucket and bring it over here and make you have fun via lots of water and splashing.
You wouldn't dare.
I'm your daughter.
And I'm your mother. I can ground the shit out of you.
Can you, though? Can you?
Absolutely.
Yes, you can, but will I care? Probably not until it's happened. So, consequences are for later, after the holiday,
I
right?
mean, if she uses electricity magic, she can really ground you.
Real wise way to spend like our last few MP points.
Zapping her daughter.
Well, I'm sorry. I don't know what you do at a beach. I'm just trying to relax. Leaning against the tree and enjoying a bit of ice cream seems appropriate enough.
We can
There's a
get
palm
you a
tree.
beach chair and an umbrella.
And there is a palm tree like next to where we are as well, so could still do that. Point is, I just want to spend some proper time with you, That's not explosions or amber or demons. I mean, since
Or
we
her
met-
looking into your dreams.
Yeah, right now. Point is, since we reconnected, when have we actually had a time just to be mother and daughter having a bit of fun and recreation?
I can think of one or two occasions. Namely, when I was first teaching you how to summon those wings.
We gotta figure out how to do that again. One day. Bill, come on.
There's a fun question.
What?
When you were poking around these dreams, did you ever run into the more fun ones?
That's not how that works. She kind of interrupted my dreams, and there was like.
Okay, so first of all, Thanatos,
Yeah.
that is a very inappropriate question. That's my daughter. Second of all, even if I had, do you really think I would tell you? And third, no, I did not. Like Nee said, I interrupted the dreams and whatever she was seeing ended before I could see it. And she was never in the habit of telling me what she was seeing because she was usually busy freaking out about the fact I was there in the first place.
Yeah,
And now
he
I'm
tends
dragging
to
you
freak
onto
out a lot.
And now I'm dragging you onto a beach and giving you ice cream. How far we've come.
All right. Still not exactly sure what we're going to do over there, but all right. And Panara just sort of lets you guide her wheresoever.
For now, just enjoy the fact that the world is still here.
All right, and you guide Panara over, and she kind of lies down on the other side of you from where Mika's lying.
Another palm tree nearby, grab her a deck chair. Put it in the shade because she burns like no tomorrow.
Yeah. Thanatos, do you at any point offer her that martini or beer or whatever?
I would, but I do recall she said something about not liking alcohol.
You remembered, she's actually very allergic to alcohol.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's the genetic defect that led to these issues.
Well, part of it at least. There was more to it than that, but... Just in general, yeah, Panara can't drink alcohol. It fucks with her innards something fierce.
Which is why he relented to get her some water.
Okay, so...
And not the alcoholic kind.
Alright, so... With that sorted, who next?
Well, I had an idea,
Okay.
but I'm not sure how I'm going to put it off.
Well,
One way to find out. Try.
Well, I suppose Athena's having her fun and minding her work. And I just had an idea. A bit of a wicked idea.
Alistair having a wicked idea. Who are you and what have you done with him?
Rush him! No.
Oh god, it's like that one moment that Alistair doesn't want tea and then Twilight thinks he's a changeling. From a random comic club I come across.
Quite. So, what will you be doing?
Well, it's quite the nice little monument you built upon me. But it'd be a shame if a huge gust of wind should hit it right now. And with that, it's gonna cast. What is it? The spell Aurora, I think? It costs
Aurora.
30. Aurora.
I mean, I won't involve like rolls or MP costs. You just do it. So
Yeah, because I don't want to. I don't want to do any damage. I just want to basically
You're
focus
going
on
to
her.
get sand everywhere.
So you
Where are
summon.
you, her?
So what happens is you summon up this gust of wind that causes all of the sand that Athena had piled around you to just expand outwards. This boom, it's like a sandstorm just rockets out from the beach. The rest of you look over as the shockwave radiates outwards, and inside you hear Athena going, "Ah, shit, motherfucker!" And then a second later, it's like, Alistair, roll me a finesse check, please.
I also imagine him laughing that. Ah, shit! My microphone. Damn, to get in my keyboard. Damn. Alright. Man, it's been a while since I used. You know what? No. Yeah, me no. Sorry, but I'd rather have human error than AI error. It's the best kind of error. So, let's see. So it's finesse,
Yes,
you say?
to see
Okay,
how much
Does that
power
make it go on?
winds up going into this spell.
Oh shit. I'm a bit nervous on a high roll now. Although then again, more comedy. I just have to ruin the drinks and food.
You monster.
I'm sorry. And to make this quicker and easier, I'm just going to quickly do the old switcheroo because, well, I'm having technical issues with my camera anyway. So,
Yeah, it's not that big a roll. We'll believe you.
just for safety.
The hell?
Oh, the dice camera.
That's a cock, is it? So it's 2 for 1, 4. So 6, and my finesse. Swap back to look first. My finesse is. Fuck me, there's a lot of scrolling. 8.
Remember, you don't have your guard armor, so minus that a little bit.
Alright.
Extra. It was like an extra 2 to 4. You go from the armor.
Okay, let's swap over.
So
Press
either
the wrong
way,
button. You think
Back
that
over, so basically,
so it's at least a 12, basically.
it's a 7. My finesse. So, just we're down 1.
So it's like 13.
All right, so, Alistair, you quickly realize that you might have overdone it a little bit, as the rest of you, as you sort of look over and see this expanding wave of kicked up sand, and then it washes over all of you. And as it does, so you wind up getting sand in your martinis, sand in your beers. There's now sand in Panara's ice cream.
And sand in all of our suits.
Asa!
Oh shit.
I have sand everywhere. You ruined my drink!
And also you can see just Athena's legs just poking up out of the sand a little ways away, kicking frantically.
Hildebrand style.
Hildebrand style.
Well-
Rocket, I'm pretty sure you were like the only one not to get hit because I think you're kind of just sitting farther away from everyone else to relax yourself. And you knew something like this would happen eventually. So you're just watching this happen.
Rocket's the smartest one.
So, Alistair, as you're kind of looking at everyone giving you these hateful glares, Panara just kind of sits up, looks down at her ice cream, like half of it is just encrusted in a thin sheen of sand, and then the ball of ice cream just falls off like the guy from Lilo and Stitch. She pouts. I was liking that.
We can guess you another one, and there are also other flavors. There's chocolate. You've ever had chocolate?
Well, everyone but Rocket has just turned into Anakins of hating sand.
Oh no, we don't hate sand. We just hate you.
All right. And then you feel a hand come down on your shoulder from behind, Alistair. Alistair, a word. It's Kyra.
Uh-oh.
I'm in deep shit.
Kyra's gonna use jump and take you with her. So, are you trying to resist at all?
Yes.
Okay.
Me don't want to go
Okay.
up.
Okay, Thanatos, I need you to make an opposed force check for Kyra against Alistair's force. And you may go ahead and give Kyra an additional one, or like an additional 2 to her roll, just to compensate for the level discrepancy.
And just like that, conflict has ensued.
So
Also-
that's 2 to her. That's 2 to her force sword.
Remember, everyone, we're wearing no armor right now. We're in swimsuits. So any
Okay.
bonuses?
Well, Alistair's in more casual clothes, which I probably should have pointed that out.
Yeah, we're all.
I mean, that
in
would be
her-
just-
Yeah, we're all.
Still
in
not
this
your
one.
armor, so you don't get any bonus.
So yeah.
So, yeah. Well, either way. So that's 2 to her force that she already has.
Ow, my head.
15.
I have to beat a 15.
You have to beat a 15.
Shit.
Yes, the girls don't appreciate when you.
Alistair goes
cover
to
that in
resist,
sand.
and I just find a shell in the stone and you throw stone on Alistair.
Okay, never mind. Alistair doesn't get to roll as a little shell just clunks you on the head.
You son of a bitch! I just rolled.
Okay, so a shell
Yeah.
a shell clunks Alistair on the head, and then Kyra takes you up into the sky. And the rest of you watch as the two of them disappear up and up. A couple seconds later, as Alistair regains his bearings, he starts
Also-
screaming.
Alistair, you take 2 points of damage.
Ouch.
That doesn't matter. And then the rest of you watch as the little black dot that became Kyra and Alistair separates.
Did she just drop it?
She threw him into the ocean. He comes flying down like a meter, just hits the water. This big tidal wave is kicked up. Not big enough to wash anything away. Go away, Grandma. And then Kyra lands on the beach and just strikes this nice little pose. Hold on. What?
Uh-huh. That's...
I'll be right back. Grandma demands attention.
Anyway, independent roleplay time. So, that was... a thing.
Oh.
Thanatos is just on the ground, laughing.
It was an accident. I was only meant to get.
Yeah, you're way out at sea, so we're just probably just hearing that just like as a far off voice.
I am back. What did I miss?
Thanatos is laughing and
floppity.
rolling on the ground. Alistair is calling out to us at sea, saying that it wasn't his intention.
Does anyone have a rope for him? Thanatos, do you have a rope for him?
Thanatos is going to take 2 hands full of sand, walk over to you, and drop it on your head.
I'm going to attempt to dodge and counter.
Thanatos, accuracy roll versus knees avoidance.
Well, she doesn't have any of her bonuses.
Neither do you.
And next to you, you just see like Panara and just Panara and Mika just like looking at you. If they were wearing sunglasses, they'd be lowering them down. It's like, oh shit, here we
Damn
go.
it.
I just had the worst belly flop in years.
So, how does Nee like sand in her hair?
She probably doesn't, if I were to crack a guess.
I'm already covered in it, so it doesn't make much of a difference.
So yeah, you now have a bunch of sand in your hair.
Emma, thoughts on this?
In the back of your head, deep in your psyche, you hear Emma just snickering and go, I think it's been too long since we've had a good old-fashioned war.
It's been 3 weeks.
Or
Yeah, but that one wasn't fun.
Good point. Okay. Let's do this, shall we? And I'm going to use barrage, but with sand.
what? It's everybody.
Yeah.
Including your fiance.
Well,
And your
technically, it hits everyone that's hostile to me, and currently I'm considering people who are hostile to be you, Alistair.
Alistair's at sea.
Yeah, there's Bradley in here. Because why not? And also just because it's fun to make around with Kyra.
So everybody other than your mother and your fiance.
3v3.
Oh god.
All right, and so Neothil, you just kind of give this shit-eating grin, scoop up some sand, jump up into the air, and just start shoot a bunch around. And with that, the battle lines are drawn.
Question: Is
Yes.
an 8 sufficient for swimming?
It should be fine.
Duty commenced.
Okay, so with that in mind, I would. Okay, so Hades, I would like you to make a force check for Thanatos and Kyra cumulatively. Alistair, you don't get to roll because you're in the ocean. And then Nee, Mika, and Panara may make a force checks and add those together.
Am I helping me?
Yeah, the battle lines have been drawn.
I'm surprised
So-
Panara just can shrug and give into the madness.
No, you see, this is what happens. Shit, first she doesn't get bothered with it, and then Thanatos ends up hitting her and Mika along with you. Then
All right.
Alistair
it's like,
looking.
so-
Alistair looking at the situation. You know what? Ocean's fine. Ocean's nice.
I think Athena's just watching this as well. Force check.
Regrettably, I do not have a stat block for Panara anymore.
No.
So I'll just
Well,
give
she's
I'll just give her the same force as Mika and call it a day.
I got to 11, 12, 14.
All right, so
Already beaten you.
it's a tie.
we let's hear. So we have an 11 from Mika, a 13 from a Panara, and a 14 from Neothil, and then a 13 from Thanatos and Kyra each. So yeah, yeah, and Alistair is still at sea, so he can't actually contribute. So over the next, let's say, like 30 minutes, the beach just descends into chaos as the rest of you go from like it at some point like escalates from you like tossing around sand to the whole thing just kind of devolves into the water and you're just splashing each other. Someone finds a volleyball and you just start throwing it at each other dodgeball style. It is absolute chaos for an hour, but the combined teamwork of the lovebirds and the mama bear going against Thanatos and Kyrie is just a bit too much for you two to handle without Alistair's input, and like Athena just goes gung-ho after him, just 1v1ing him essentially. So
Oh god.
but for the next, but for like the remainder of the day, it just keeps going, something to that effect. Chaos breaks out, a bunch of laughs are had as everyone splashes each other with water, hits each other in the face with volleyballs. Things calm down, you relax for a bit, and then some other crazy incident happens that leads to more chaos for the better part of the rest of the day. But eventually, the chaos does have to come to an end. And by the time the day is coming to its end, you're all very tired, but you just feel so much more relaxed and so much lighter. And there's just like this sort of bubbly giddiness buried deep somewhere in your chests after all of the chaos of the day has wound down. And before long, you've reached the point where the sun is setting on the horizon. Sky clear, casting this gorgeous orange glow over everything.
Oh, I think it's fair to say, Team words, English, Team Elf Mithra Extraordinaire is the victor.
As I was watching at the sidelines, I can concur that you are the champion.
Sidelines, and why you're in a headlock, and Athena is,
We are tussling, and I think we're about near end. I'm exhausted. What about you, Athena?
4 minutes.
And
I
want. Yeah,
This is
we
cold
went
as a
easy.
jaw.
We went easy on you. Didn't want to embarrass you in front of your mummy.
Picky, mummy. Mother, you lost your hood somewhere in that.
Yes, I noticed. Hmm.
Never seen you without it. That's weird.
Without my hood?
Yeah.
Yes, you have. I've taken it off several times.
Well, Palmer doesn't remember.
Yeah, like the time you met in the Kelgor chapter, she took her hood down for that dream meeting. Or
That
chapter
was
2, rather.
literally years ago. I don't remember that.
And plenty of other times after you met in person, she took her hood off for more personal things. So yes, you have seen her without her hood on.
He just goes, well, then.
The blah says all.
So,
Sand, though, that's definitely new.
so. Oh.
I don't think I've had that much fun in a long time. And that's Mika talking.
Agreed.
Reminds me of the time, early days. Marasu, the plague was done. We're aboard the ship, just no end of the world, no grand purpose, just adventuring off towards Anomo and getting onto shenanigans on the way.
Yeah. I have to agree with you on that, Nee. I mean, yeah, I was gonna travel, I expected that, but to meet you lot, no. And I regret no single moment of it.
Same.
Ditto.
Never expected such a odd bunch to save the world, eh?
Never expected such an odd bunch to become your secondary family, huh?
Or even
We
one
start-
point, somewhat demigods. Eh.
Wow, either way, we started on a beach. Might as well end here.
Well, at least this one we didn't have to be blowing off a ship. Well, most of us.
Or even you doing some extravagant jump off the ship.
Okay,
But
that
we
was...
still somehow ended up soaked, covered in sand, and disoriented.
Yeah, it was more fun this time. And we had company who kind of even out the odds. Never thought you'd be on a beach with a splash fight, eh, Bernard?
No, but I can't say I was disappointed by it.
Come on, you must have some younger day stories. You weren't always over 200 years old.
Yes, do tell us the wonderful tales of your youth. Any troublemakers? Because I know Nee gets it from somewhere.
Honestly, I think she gets that side of her more from Gabrant than me. I was something of a shut-in when I was little. I think the only times I ever really got into any kind of trouble when I was younger were when I was, in my hormonal teenage years, attracted to the troublemakers.
Like my father.
Wait,
I didn't meet him
Gabrant.
until well after. But
Gabrant, Mr. Big, Tall, and Duty, a troublemaker?
yeah, I don't really know the specifics, but apparently he got his fascination and desire to become a judge when he got arrested for graffitiing an official's house.
What? Sorry,
Hey, what?
graffiti? My father, Mr. I'm gonna truck you all the way across the world because duty graffitiing a house, tagging like a punk.
The same guy that literally fucking turned on us despite we freed him from stone.
What? Yeah, that's my ex-husband.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow, you sure know how to pick them.
Shut up.
Although
It might have ended in tragedy, but he's still a good man at his core.
I hope someday he'll show up again, not in such a negative mindset.
Maybe he will.
Feel like
I wouldn't say no if he did, but at the end of the day, I think it might be for the best if his path and mine remain separate from now on.
maybe, but I
You think you'd
feel like
ever want to go
Me
back
and
to
him-
Solar?
No. There's nothing for me there now. If I went back, even if we assume the Empire is still standing, I have a death penalty on my head. My place is here now.
And we're more than
Maybe-
happy to have you here.
Maybe off the back of all this and whatever's going on there. I mean, when we last met, he was reconsidering things. I feel like there's more to be said with me and him, if nothing else. Now that he actually sees me for me than my own ghost.
Well, maybe. But
Maybe I'm
That's
just
a-
being an
that's-
optimist as always.
maybe. But that's a bridge to cross when we get there. For now, I want to get another cone of ice cream, and then I want to go to bed.
Yes, Thanatos. Wander over to some nearby packs and flick some gil to Thanatos. You lost, you get the ice cream. We, meanwhile, she's going to wander over Mika and just kind of quieten her voice and go, I think we need to go get cleaned up.
Mika just kind of gives you this smirk and is like, I like the sound of that. And, and as she's getting up to go with you, she absolutely, not at all subtly, just claps you on the backside.
Oh.
Hey, Mika knows what she wants, and she ain't shy about it.
Godspeed, gentlemen. Good night.
Yes. Clean up, quote unquote.
And
Panara.
as they're walking away, Kyra just kind of watches them go, smirks. Oh, they're totally gonna get dirty first.
Yeah, most likely. Let's just hope they have the decency to make sure Panara is not in the next room.
Anyway. And then Kyra grabs you by the arm. Let's say we go get a drink, huh?
Yeah, that sounds nice.
And then Kyra uses jump and takes you with her.
I can walk!
But this is more fun! All right.
Yeah, I ain't doing that again. I ain't doing
All
it.
right. So that just leaves Alistair, Athena, and Rocket on the beach.
Well, I was just gonna say sorry to Panara before she walks off. Is like, cheer up, Panara. At least you don't get smacked around a women in a chaining arena, like a certain someone does to me.
That might happen to me at some point. Magic's always been my passion, and now I have to start from scratch.
Well, I'm sure you do great.
Such is my hope. And then she walks off. All right. Is there anything else
So,
before we move on?
Athena,
Hmm?
what else have you got planned for me?
Well, for now, you still owe me that drink at the Academy City.
I know the special place, but that's my secret.
You know I've lived there a lot longer than you, right?
True.
It's Buck's place, isn't it?
Yes.
She claps you on the back and then just kind of starts frolicking off the beach. All right.
Go get her.
Thank you.
All right.
Toast in my head.
Alrighty. And so, with that little moment, Rocket, you kind of watch them all head out. Is there anything Rocket wants to do now that she's all on her own on the beach?
Nah.
Just gonna keep sitting there and just relaxing in the sunset's final glow?
Yeah.
All right. So, as the sun is setting, you just kind of look ahead in your kind of roosting position there in the sand. You take a couple deep breaths. And still feel that little tingle of fiery warmth somewhere deep inside that Phoenix left you with, and it's just comforting. And as the sun finally plummets beneath the horizon and the world sinks into darkness, you close your eyes and just fall asleep there on the sands, with the echoing cry of a phoenix in your ears. And with that, I believe we can go ahead and start transitioning into our denouement. So, you all sent me the things you want to resolve in DMs. in between sessions. I will call on you one at a time for your specific scenes. If there's anyone you want to invite along for a scene, you only need to ask them, and if they want to tag along, they can. If someone wants to ask to come along, they can also do that. If you want them along, you can let them. If not, you can say no thanks. And the first thing that comes up in the days following this, Neothil. You go through several days of investigation that eventually lead you back up to the Academy City, where you ask around in search of Doris, the mage that once traveled with Saran. Mika accompanies you. Does anyone else want to tag along?
I mean, as long as he's happy with it, I'd be.
Which person?
We're going to go deliver the sword back to Saran's friends.
Okay,
Rocket want to come along with that, or is she good?
she'll come along.
All right. What about Thanatos?
too.
I guess he has the sword, so
Fair enough. All right. So,
I assume Mika's coming along because closure there.
yeah. So, the whole group kind of links together, and after some asking around in Animo, you eventually learn that yes, the Black Mage Doris is present in the Academy City. And he has been for quite some time. And indeed, when the attack from Anima occurred, he was one of the most notably recognized in his defense of the city, keeping many younger students kept safe.
Can we ask whether, since things happened, he's been entertaining friends recently? A woman and a man, brother, sister.
Asking around, you do learn that yes, he has been entertaining a couple of guests there at his request, and indeed have been staying in his personal dorm.
Remind me of those two's names again. It's
Ryle and Lalas.
Lalas.
Apparently they showed up at around not long after the sky went dark. And eventually you find where they've been staying. You find yourselves in one of the dorm sections of the Academy City for returning students, the same sort that Alistair and the rest of you were allowed to stay in on the occasion that Anima launched its attack.
Be right back.
Okay?
Okay.
And as you step in, or step up to it, the door is closed for the moment,
Knock.
right? You knock, and a couple seconds later, the door opens, and you see the form of Doris in front of you. It's kind of weird
Doris?
seeing this person you've only seen in visions in the flesh. He looks a little older now. Not much, but recent experiences have clearly left him stressed and haggard, and you see like a couple of stray hairs kind of poking up from his head. His glasses are a touch askew. He's got a new scar on his cheek.
Doris?
Yes, that is me. And who might you be?
I'm Neothil. This is Thanatos Shadowgrass, Rocket, Mika Solwyn, Alistair Quinton, and Kyra Nightstar. We're the adventuring group some might call the Warriors of Light and Darkness.
Ah, yes. I've heard of you.
We fought Diabolos in the final fight.
Yes, there's quite a few stories going around about that. I can't
You know
imagine what
what-
business you would have with me, though.
What have you heard of the stories and who we faced that day?
The accounts are as varied as there are people to tell it, I'm afraid.
I mean, you were
The only consistent point is that you all ventured into the Tower of Creation, and whatever was happening, you stopped it in its tracks.
What do you know of the mage named Murasan?
Can't say I know much.
He led the attack on the city here. You were one of the defenders.
You kind of see Doris's face kind of shift a bit from just curiosity at your approach to something far more solemn. You mean Saran?
You know. Yes. You do know then.
When the attack happened, I saw him. Very briefly. Yes.
Did he see you?
I don't know. I take it by this line of questioning that you know who I am and my relation to him.
You're Doris, and in this room are Riol and Marlis.
Ryle and Lallis.
Riol and Marlis. We're here for him. Saran. There's a lot you should know.
Then you should come in.
He's,
Then you should come inside. Then. And he turns and makes his way back, leaving the door open for you to enter.
Thanatos. The blade.
He pulls it out and shows it to him.
As
You,
we walk in.
you step into the dorm room and you pull out the vermilion edge and hand it forward. And as you're kind of stepping in, it's the same size as what you're used to, but like an extra, like one of the beds got swapped out for a bunk bed. And you see sitting on the top one, the familiar form of Ryle, looking up in surprise. And then next to it, in a wheelchair, Lallis. And they look up as you're entering, and the moment then, as you kind of pull out the sword and hold it forward, Lallis' eyes widen.
I
Who
am
are you?
sorry. The warriors of light and darkness, we were with Saran when he died. I'm sorry.
Lallis just kind of holds her hands out.
Thanatos gives it to her.
She takes the weapon in her hands and sort of just holds it closer to her chest. What happened to him?
It's before we tell you. Just know that he wanted us to tell you that he was sorry, and that he did love you. All of you, but you. I never got to tell you. Before he died, he showed us your history together. How you grew up together, you joined as an adventuring group. His mistake with the Ochu. Mirror.
So you and go through and you sort of recount what Saran showed you and your own personal accounts with him.
He was a complicated man in the end. Haunted, but I can't say he was a good man. He may have wanted to do the right things, but he did it the wrong way. But in the end, despite all his flaws, despite what he did, he saved us. He saved the world. For all of you.
And Lallis just kind of quietly starts crying without saying anything.
Sorry, I missed it. Food was ready.
It's all good.
You're fine.
Right.
So I grabbed some food real quick.
What I
Alright.
We
missed?
just broke the news to them.
Yeah, they just
We
broke
found Saran's old friends.
in the Academy City, and he just got done sort of giving the recap of what happened after that group split up.
Okay.
And Ryle sort of sitting up on the bunk bed, kind of... Damn it. If anyone should be apologizing for what happened, it's me then.
saw what happened that day, and I'm not going to mince words.
Yeah, I know. I was wrong, alright?
Can
You
I
were,
say something
but
out of character?
Sure.
yeah.
You shouldn't make him mad. We'll rile him up.
God damn it.
God damn it, Luna.
There's a pan. There's always a pun.
Of course there is. Yeah, look, I get it. I know. I screwed up.
You did, but whatever you did, he made his own choices too. He had a chance to walk away and he didn't. Which is not all.
If I hadn't shoved
I'll
him
also
away, though,
blame-
maybe we could have pulled him back from that, though.
It wasn't just that, it was when he saw what happened to your home, he thought you were dead, I think, for a while. Like, broke something in him. And then, funny enough, after his resurrection, we started to put it back together again.
Mika gently speaks up a moment later. What did happen to you two after you left? Ryle kind of looks away uncomfortably. It's Lalas who speaks up. I was angry at first. Absolutely furious. Then we found a home sunk and, well... I pretty much demanded Ryle drop me off somewhere and then just leave me there. I didn't see him again until the sky started going dark. He came and helped protect me. And then we went to find Doris. Yeah.
I know this isn't the news you wanted to hear.
Speaking frankly, it's just good to get any news. We've gone without knowing what Saran's fate was for so long. It's not the end we would wish for him, but the closure will help, I think. We can remember him properly.
Good. Because history is going to remember him as the villain.
Hopefully,
can at
history will remember the man named Murasan.
Whatever the case. For all the problems I have with that man, and all the time we spent hating him. I know him. Who he was and what he chose in the end. I remember that too.
So will we. Thank you for telling us.
Take solace at least in that. With Diablo's gone, his soul is free, so... Any day now, he's gonna get another shot. Hopefully a better one.
Yeah. And we might not have a body, but... well, least we can do maybe is give him a proper grave somewhere. Maybe if I do that... maybe I can start to actually forgive myself for how badly I fucked that up.
Where did you leave Mira? Where? Doris?
There wasn't really much of Mira left, unfortunately. What little
know,
there... What I wound up doing is I simply took her weapon back to her home. It was all that was left of her to bring.
then perhaps I look at Vermilion's Edge. Much the same as Cold War here. But whatever you decide, Vermilion's Edge is now yours. Do with as you so decide. It was the blade, or at least a version of it, that struck Diablos' heart and ended it. And now it's his rest.
And I'll make sure he does. Does anyone else have anything else to add?
Nothing much, but that's all else I could say. Rest assured, after all he's done, I'm sure he would find his own form of peace.
Knowing he managed to play such a long game and get what he wanted out of it, I'm sure he will.
He won his game in the end.
Glad he took those chess lessons of mine to heart.
He really did. He didn't stop talking about the game. It was rather annoying.
Especially when you don't know you're the players.
Or the pieces.
No, same difference.
Whatever you three end up doing, wish you luck, and I hope you find your own peace. He wouldn't want you to hold this forever. I don't think Mira would either.
The closure will help.
And it's time you went home.
Alright. And if there's nothing else, we can now transition into the next scene.
As we're leaving, I kind of assume they just kind of gathered in a comfort circle around the sword.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of just look at it for a few moments and goodbye, Saran. And leave the room after that.
Alright. Following that, the group begins to scatter a little bit, as you have different objectives you want to see to. The first one on the docket is Alistair. You decide to remain in the Academy City as everyone else starts to split up to go take care of their own lingering issues, because you still owe Athena that drink.
Yep.
So if there is anything in particular you want to say to Athena, any particular things you want to act out, go for it.
Okie dokie. So I'm guessing we're all at the table just drinking and...
It's just you and Athena. No one else is present.
Yeah, that's what I'm on about, me and Athena.
Yeah, just you and Athena. At Puck's place. For the sake of poeticism, we'll say it's the same balcony that Nee and Mika had their first date on.
Of course.
Callbacks!
So, Athena.
Yes?
I think I think it's time for me to be honest with you.
If this involves another sheet of pre-written notes, I'm gonna slap you one.
Well, surprised you haven't noticed. My bag's not with me. I have no notes, no quill, nothing.
Yeah, but you're you. I'm half convinced you just pull something like that out of your ass.
Yeah. I can be a bit of the nerd, and you're always the one that likes to kick ass.
Well, anyways, honest time. Out with it.
Yes. I really do want to give us a try. as much as we know each other now and then in our own little ways, I am willing to do whatever it takes. Heck, I would even cast aside all of my nerdy books, or let you throw me around Academy City a few more times.
Well, you don't have to go get rid of your books. The fact that you have so many books is part of the reason why I find you so funny.
Really?
Yeah. Because I have to keep dragging you away from them. But let's be real, that little ritual is part of the fun.
She kind of downs a swig of wine.
So, you want to give us a try? Well, bringing me here of all places. Damn good start. Just so long as you remember, I am a blue mage. We don't typically sit still.
I'm aware of that, but I think my years of travel have trained me for this.
Well, all right then.
She sort of lifts up her little wine glass as if for a toast.
Off to see the world. And all the weird-ass creatures it has.
And whatever the future may bring, may we handle it in our little way.
Clink. You take a swig from there. And for the sake of brevity, the night from that point goes on very well. And in the times that follow, say for those occasions where you link back up with the rest of the Warriors of Light for some excursion or social gathering or what have you, you spend the coming days traveling the world with Athena, helping people out wherever you can, learning things, and just more or less returning to what you did after you first graduated. But this time you have Athena at your side to knock some sense into you when you start talking a little too much. And with that,
Alistair,
Alistair's plot comes to a close.
Our boy is grown up.
I'm already starting to freaking. It's just feeling at the end now. I don't like it.
All right. Next up on the itinerary,
Oh.
as the group begins to splinter off to go and take care of their own things. Rocket, you travel with me and Mika for a time, following the old road out of Animo and heading in the direction of Poriton in the hopes of fetching a ride to get back out to sea, as it is Mika's intention to go to where the Morosan Isle used to be, in the hopes that, with Leviathan's last little actions as requested, the tides will have receded and the island will be there again to begin rebuilding. But as you are journeying, you eventually find yourselves passing through Lolato. And in Lolato, you know, is where Inata and his wife live. And so, if there's no one else you want to ask to tag along, you get to go and say hi to them.
Okay.
Alright? Since you still have the intention to also link up with Mivan, Kalea, Trisha, and Jerish, you're still going to be traveling with Nee and Mika for a while, so if Nee wants to invite herself and Mika to this meeting, she can. Otherwise, it can just be you.
Unless she specifically asks us, I think we'll give Rocket her space on this one.
Alright?
If you want.
Spend time with your
I'm not
family.
against it.
Give you time to spend with your family. I'm sure Nee and Mika can find other things to occupy their time.
Yeah, like an in-room. And a bed.
Fair enough.
Alright.
Wow, chicka wow wow.
So yeah, Nee and Mika go off to go do girlfriend things, while you head to the place where you remember Inata hanging out. You stagger by a few sources of damage and signs of the battle that you had left in the middle of last time you were here, but luckily, with the help of the battle mages and Odin's golems, the damage is kept to a relative minimum, thankfully. Also, given that this city was one of the last ones to be hit by the Amber Tide. And so you come up to the door, and I assume you knock?
Yeah.
Alright. Couple moments pass before the door opens up, and there's Inata on the other side, and his eyes immediately light up.
Rocket!
jumps up and gives you a hug around the neck.
Inara!
Oh, it's good to see you. Are you okay?
None the worse, but we're actually pretty good. All things considered, no more end of the world for now.
You actually pulled it off. Oh, I knew you could do it.
And then he turns and kind of shouts back deeper into the house.
Lorita, Rocket's here.
And then a second later, you see Anada's wife coming around the bend at like full tilt, full power spin.
Marina!
And then just tackle hugs you two. Like with enough force that you actually like take a step back.
Yep.
We were so worried about you.
I was worried about you guys. I'm glad you're okay.
We're pretty
They want me
okay.
Sorry about that. They're hollering at me to make sure there's towels upstairs.
It's all good. Alright, so after a second, Lorita kind of hops down and then looks you over for a second, blinks.
The fiery stuff you had is gone.
Yeah, we managed to bring Phoenix back, at least temporarily, but...
Temporarily is more than I think just about anyone could have asked for, so...
Well, it helped quiet the Amber, that's for sure. And
Yeah.
it was good to see Phoenix. I wish I could have provided a way for her to stay longer, though.
I'm sure you did everything you could.
Everything she would allow, that is.
Yeah, well, I tell you this.
Nada kind of sits down at the table.
The days ahead are gonna be crazy.
Well, everybody's still recovering from what was supposed to be a world-ending attack, so...
Yeah, a lot of places were destroyed, a lot of places were damaged. But if the reports coming in are true, then the Amber's just kind of going dead. Breathed a lot of stuff into the world around it, so... But largely, it's just going inert. So, there are whole regions that we couldn't explore before that people are going to be going into. There are a bunch of new frontiers. The Amber
Indeed
Field,
there are.
the Amber Coast, the Eternal. Who knows what people are
Yeah.
going to start finding.
Well, in about 500 years, they'll probably be finding some Ghibli-esque golems covered in greenery.
What the hell is a Ghibli-ass statue?
Ghibli-esque. I was breaking the fourth wall there.
Yeah, I noticed, and I was having Nada react.
What the hell's Ghibli-esque?
It's a fourth wall thing you wouldn't understand.
Okay. Ah. So how long are you going to be hanging around?
Well, I'm traveling with Nee and Mika for the time being, but I wanted to see you guys again and make sure you are all right. I'll be seeing a family in what was the place called again?
They're currently hanging out in Lyra's side, though you get the impression that in the event that the Marasan Isle has indeed resurfaced, they'll probably be going there to try and rebuild their old lives.
Well, we'll be checking in on the Marasan Isle to see if it's risen from the waters. No doubt the boat won't wait forever, but
I mean,
I
hey,
definitely wanted to see you guys again.
if you're only here for a day, that's fine. We're just happy to see that you're alive and okay.
Well, I'm more than all right. I'm just glad you guys are alive.
So what are you gonna do now? After you've, checked in with the people you're checking in with, I mean.
Well, I've got a lot to consider for the future. And honestly, I was thinking of settling down in one of the... What's the cat isle called again?
You mean like the nation as a whole or one of the specific islands?
Yeah.
If you're referring to the capital, that one is Lirasai. There's also, of course, Marasu. There's Spirama, but none of you have ever gone there.
Well, I was thinking of settling in either Lirasai or Mikote, or there's a
Yeah.
family there that I've become close friends with as well.
Well.
You'll have to meet them sometime.
Oh, we would love to, by all means.
I was thinking of settling there, and when the time comes, going to see the gods again.
It'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Well, for now, and then Inyata kind of leans over behind the table, pulls out this like little like a basket with a lid, pulls off the lid, and you are immediately hit by the smell of fresh gaicho pickles.
Oh my freaking gosh. Gotcha pickles. Actually, I haven't seen these in a while.
Yeah?
Slides him forward.
We know how much you like them, and we figured if you were going to stop by again, you might like to have some, so here you go.
Thank you.
You're
She
welcome.
did say.
And you dig in. And following that, you spend pretty much the remainder of that day and the remainder of that night just hanging out with the two who found you after you washed up on the shores of that river after escaping from Devia Corp so long ago. It's nice to just get a chance to just spend time with them again. Without any drama nipping at your heels or any weight weighing down on your shoulders, just you and the first people who found you.
By the way, she was the one I said probably had a keen sense that something more was going on with Rocket.
Oh yeah, and she definitely is giving you questioning looks, but she isn't saying anything.
Oh, okay. I thought she'd say something.
No, that's she's respecting Rocket's privacy on that front. If Rocket doesn't bring it up, she ain't gonna ask. But regardless, and following that, the group carries on. You follow the road to Poriton, which is mercifully utterly untouched by the tide of amber and the demons that attacked. Unmarked, unscathed, though host to some refugees from smaller villages or settlements scattered around, some individuals who sailed in from the Mikatine Islands after the demons started hitting them, but largely it is unaffected. And you take a boat and head out to sea. And on the whole way back, Mika is glued to the front of the ship, eyes front, just looking ahead.
Nee comes up beside her, quite close in. You do know that when we get there, I'm not sure how much of the city's going to be left after being submerged like it was.
I know. I know it's probably going to have to be rebuilt from scratch, but I'm fine with that.
We can only hope it's risen back up.
The castle might still be there. It was quite a sturdy structure.
Maybe.
If not, it may take some magic to get up. But it's possible. With work.
Considering the legacy the city's gonna have now, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if a whole bunch of people came flocking in just to help build it back up. It's where our story started. Oh no.
Yeah, I imagine the docks are probably a mess.
Mika kind of buries her face into her hands.
Oh no, I just realized in a few generations the fact that that city's where we started is gonna be a tourist attraction.
On the bright side, it might encourage a few investors to maybe shove some gil into the rebuilding effort.
Yeah, I guess. It's just like, it's gonna be weird. If I somehow persist in the live stream after I'm gone and I see it turning into a tourist trap, I'm gonna be very offended.
Don't worry, I'm gonna be around plenty of time, and I'll kick some doors down. Cranky old woman, elven person who also learn.
I'm sure when we find out about it, the cat will be out of the bag by then.
Oh no.
Mika
You've been
turns
around
and lightly.
Thanatos for way too long, Rocket. I mean, come on.
Mika turns and lightly punches you on the shoulder, Rocket.
Shut up, you magnificent, stupid, beautiful bird.
You can feel his presence here, always with us.
Always watching.
No one
That's
ever expected
racism.
to be making waves.
Oh,
And over the coming next couple days, Rocket continues to annoy you with puns for her own amusement before finally, after several more days of sailing, you do see it poking up. The familiar silhouette of the Isle of Marasu, though noticeably different in many places. The entire biome of the whole island has changed. The greenery that you had spotted in the past, all the grasses and the forests that sort of dotted parts of it, have been washed away or rendered barren. And there on the northeastern shore, almost completely washed away, the shrapnel and debris that is all that's left of the city of Marasu. The castle still stands. Mostly. Some of the towers have caved in. Some of the brickwork has been eroded already, and you can see, even from here, signs of ocean growths on it that have appeared over the last several months. Moss and coral growths. But it's there. It's present.
I assume the docks are just smashed, they're gone.
Oh yeah, like there's just hints of architecture to indicate that there is a city here at all.
I asked the captain to bring us as close to shore as possible and ready a boat and see if I can't identify the beach we first arrived at.
Make an awareness check.
Put that on.
The residential construction crew is going to be a basket case.
And when they're hanging home, that's good case. Alright, so 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Alright, 16.
16? It takes you a little while, and it's hard to pinpoint because of how eroded and covered in barnacles and coral everything is, but eventually you do think you spot it.
Can we spot the... Because obviously everything on the dock was wood, but the wall around the beach was stone. And
Yeah, you do indeed
the
spot...
back of the hill.
Yeah, you spot the little beach where you first washed up, complete with the little wall you all had to struggle to climb just to get up top. It's there.
Let's hop into a boat. Have a look around.
All right. So you all hop into a boat and make your way over, and before long your feet touch down on the familiar sand. Any mark of your original arrival has since either been cleared up or washed away. But it's still here. And as your feet are touching down, Mika takes a few steps ahead of you. Just kind of looks at the city for a little bit.
We're up on top of the wall. Rocket can fly now, so that's not a problem. Not like the first time.
Yeah. But for the moment, Mika's just standing there on the beach where you all first washed up. After a moment, she looks down at the sand and kneels and just sort of puts her hand on it.
This is where you all washed up?
Yeah, right there, that spot, that's where I first gained consciousness, I'm fairly certain. Thanatos was there, Elsa was way over there. Rocket was there, buried upside down with her head in the sand.
You know, it's weird. I lived in this city my entire life before I met any of you, and I don't think I've ever once actually stood on this bit of sand. That's one part of this journey I missed out on.
You're here now.
Better late than never.
I give her a hug.
Alright. Mika hugs you back for a couple minutes before nodding out of the city.
It's gonna take a while to build all this back up,
Yeah.
but I think we'll manage.
I think it's been built into for a long time.
What? You are really far away from your mic.
I said I think it's been building to this for a long time.
Probably.
I want to play. Say we head towards the castle, see what's there. Take the same route Tom took us through the first time, as much as we can make out of it. Past Whisker's Corner. Do you want to make a stop by your place? See if there's anything.
Sure.
Alright, so Whisker's
Alright.
Corner, we'll take a right,
All right.
head to your place, and back again, and to the castle.
All right. So you set out and start exploring the city bit by bit.
Oh, this map.
Yeah, I kept it. I never once
Wow.
removed it. It's been in the
Oh,
map
wow.
list for the entire campaign.
Deja vu.
Most of it is gone, of course.
Hanging homes, which were hanging literally.
Yeah,
They're gone.
the city walls are eroded in a lot of places, but that's pretty much the main thing that gives you any sense of where what is. Poking around, you do eventually locate the Whiskers Corner, or what's left of it, in the two squares. You do eventually find...
They're just in the dirt. There's just a random pole in the.
Yeah.
Luska's old work equipment.
You eventually stumble across Mika's house, or not much left of that. There's like the foundation and a couple wooden poles, but other than that, it's pretty much been
I'm
washed
going
away.
to just have a investigate around, obviously, the sediment and sand, see if there's just any buried or partially buried items, personal items, knickknacks, anything that can be identified.
Make a scavenge check.
Oh, good at this. What is my scavenge skill? One, I'm going to, because I have 30 destiny, it's the last one, fuck it, I'm gonna... Why not, huh? Why not? Never mind, I'm not gonna add 5 because I got critical success.
All right.
Yay!
Natural 12.
All right. So, scavenging around. For a while, you're not expecting to find anything, but eventually, you do. Kind of brush some of the sand and whatnot away, and after a couple minutes, you find what looks to be it's waterlogged, but it's a book, smaller one, leather-bound, a little journal, pressed up against what remains of one of the walls. There are bits of mold and definite signs of water damage, but somehow it's still more or less intact.
I think this is yours.
You pass it over to Mika, and she takes it and flips it open. I used this when I was learning how to write. It was basically my notebook on how language works.
And imagine little Mika practicing all of her...
All my little letters and
spells,
syllables and
language.
words.
And then, hold on. And she flips through some of the pages very gently, before eventually coming to one near the end and chuckles a bit. Yeah, right here, right here. And she kind of turns it towards you, and you see a set of words that name's kind of smudged, but it more or less amounts to saying that so-and-so is a big poopy head.
Hope you weren't talking about me, like, future knowledge.
No. I might have had a bully or two of my own at some point, and I vented my frustrations in this for a little bit.
So you didn't end up lamping them in school?
No. I had my own ways of getting back at them.
Is that why you met the sleep spell?
Maybe?
Thanatos never stood a chance.
Not once.
Well, it's considering back in Vitae on your new study. I think we could find a place for this.
Yeah.
I would say maybe buy the blue magic book, but I have a feeling your organization system would scream.
Well,
Rules are made to be broken, though.
anyway, one more place to check. She glances off towards where the palace is.
Yes, have a look through there. That's the last place Vanar was seen. So I wanna have a look.
Alright. So you make your way to the palace. And the interior is remarkably underdamaged compared to everything else. There's still signs of water damage, things thrown around and toppled over, but where in most of the rest of the city everything had been washed away by the tides and the raging oceans and then sea life swimming through, the inside of the palace only has this on the first floor or two. Everywhere else is still ramshackle and tossed around, but things haven't been washed away. And as you're poking around, you find the occasional thing you recognize, the little courtyard where Leyland was practicing with her crossbow. You find the room that you initially stayed in that Mika tended to you in after you all got your butts handed to you by Saran. What you rolling there, Rocket?
That's for the residential area.
For the hanging homes?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get to that in a minute. But
Okay.
for Mika and Ni, eventually you all get to a place near the top of the castle, just shy of the roof. And as you get there, you see a lot of skeletons scattered about, sort of huddled together in a lot of different places, and sort of seated in the middle.
Do I see any in the distinctive armor of the captain?
You do indeed, sitting on what looks to be just a simple wooden chair that somehow survived in the middle of the room, somehow still propped up like a sword held in a reverse grip, sort of stabbed into the stones. Somehow the skeleton hasn't fallen apart. Seated in that chair, sword stabbed into the ground, hands around it, head bowed low.
He was accepting his fate or trying to. Character, I was asking you.
What was that?
I was asking whether...
You're cutting out something fierce. Hang on a second.
I
Alright.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, try again. Ah, shit. What the hell? God damn it. I'm gonna swap to Discord in the browser. Hopefully that works. Shit, goddamn. Fucking medication bullcrap. What? What? How dare you lie to me?
am. You are currently.
Hello?
Hello?
You live.
There we go. Don't know what that was
Okay,
about.
now?
Yeah, I can hear you all now. Can you hear me?
Good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Good.
Mostly.
All right, so you were saying.
I was asking you. You said his sword was in the ground. I'm asking whether it looked like he simply was bowing to accept his fate as it came, or he was embedding his sword into the ground, trying to withstand the currents as it came in.
Looking at it, it's hard to tell. Whatever the case, it is clear. He managed to get a lot of people rallied into this high floor to try and survive. Judging by all the skeletons sort of
Right.
scattered around.
But the tides are too high. You know, having never found him before now, there was always a little bit that hoped, I guess.
Well,
I head towards his skeleton and gently as I can lay it down and arms on chest.
all right.
Suppose.
It's a little tricky to
Sword,
pull it off
grip.
without. It's a little tricky to pull it off without having the whole skeleton just fall apart, but you manage.
To be
Alright.
fair, I imagine there's still a bit left on it. It hasn't. Body's underwater and these conditions last a while.
Yeah.
Especially indoors where there isn't much marine life.
All right. Well, as for that roll Rocket made earlier, you go to check the hanging homes, see if there's anything left, and there's not. The hanging homes were designed to sway around in a wind before settling back into place, but they weren't designed to resist being carried off by an ocean current. All of the basket homes that hung from their tethers are just gone. Completely washed away.
Darn, I was hoping I would find a small toy of theirs.
You don't really find anything, unfortunately.
Okay.
But either way, in the days that follow this, as you start to get a head start on clearing things out, ships from Lyricai and other parts of Mikatai start sailing in.
I imagine Lyron's on like the first one.
Yeah, Laren and Tam show up, leading the first batch of a...
Before
Yeah?
Before Vanar's wife shows up, I'm going to intercept Laren and Tam.
Okay. You sort of intercept them at the beach as they're touching down.
Laren,
You Phil.
Tam, it's been a while.
Glad to see you were successful.
See Mika's with me.
Yeah, Mika's with you.
We were. Came with cost. A lot of people died to give us the opening, but yes. We found him.
Found him?
Vanar in the castle. He's
Ah.
still there.
I see.
He grabbed as many people as he could after all chance of reaching the escape ships had left. Got to the highest point in the castle and tried to barricade themselves in. It didn't work. I imagine he knew that before. But
Well, he died doing
Tried
his duty
anyway.
at least, so he'll be honored for that.
you want to please come pay respects and see the bodies collected. His wife should have something to bury.
Yeah. Anyone he found deserves a proper burial. Tom, I'm with you.
Carl,
Then as you and Mika
we'll
lead...
take you there.
Yeah, As you and Mika lead Laren and Tam back up towards the palace, Rocket,
Yes?
you are lingering on the shore, looking for a specific set of people, coming in on the various rowboats from the fleet of old refugees from Rasu coming home to rebuild. And after a while, though you don't spot them first, you do see, or rather hear, Trisha's telltale voice squealing and getting rapidly louder like a nuclear missile about to impact.
Oh no.
And you turn just in time for the kid to come barreling into your chest, top speed, and send you falling onto your rump.
Trisha.
It's good to see you. Did you kick the bad guys' butts?
Yep, I told you I'd be back.
The rest of the family is coming up soon after. You've got Mivan and Kalea sort of walking side by side with Jerish riding on Mivan's shoulders.
Good
Mivan,
to see you again.
you as well. Jerish kind of looks out at
I'm
Marasu
glad
from
you
his...
guys are alright.
It was a little touch and go for a while. Had a few close calls when the demons were attacking Lyra's side, but Leviathan kept us safe.
Good.
And then Jerish kind of looks out at the city from his dad's shoulders.
Is this really home?
Yeah. It's gonna take a lot of work to rebuild it, but I think we're up to the task, don't you?
Yeah, I think so.
No doubt about it.
Who would have thought? The anomalous bird who busted me out of a cell underground would wind up being the one to save the day. Whole world at that.
It wasn't just me.
Well, no, certainly not. I didn't mean to imply that, but just, you never really expect to meet anyone from a group that went on to save the world, you know? Especially when they were just starting out. It's like, makes you feel like you missed something, but we're also there for it at the same time, and it gets confusing.
Yeah, that is confusing. I mean, it's jarring just being part of that party that saved the world.
I can only imagine.
Try wrapping your head around that.
Well, for now, we've got a lot more to put our minds to. Namely, rebuilding our homes.
Lyricide been good to us, but this is where we belong. I wouldn't feel right if we didn't at least try to help bring it back to its old glory, you know?
Yeah. A lot of work to do.
Yeah.
I searched the area ahead of time and couldn't find any remains of the hanging homes.
Pity. But not surprising.
That's okay.
This is Trisha. She's kind of like, just not even without your permission this time, just clambering up onto your back. She's just assuming that you allow it at this point. She sort of hops up.
Yeah, I do.
And then points outwards and then just like heroically declares,
We'll build back stronger.
Indeed we will.
Oh, you're gonna be helping?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be helping out.
Awesome! Get to have a sleepover with the bird.
and she hugs you around the neck from behind.
Oh no, I dropped my cup and everything's spilling. Hold on.
Oh no!
The child spilt the chocobo drink.
Not the drinkable.
Drink? Do you say not the drinkable?
Fuck you. You motherfucker, screw you. That is awful. To hell with you.
No, you don't. No, you don't get to say that after what you just wrote into chat.
You're right, I don't.
I partially regret nothing.
It's a smooth whiplash, though. I'm still hung up on the fact we just found Vanar's corpse. Honestly, wasn't expecting to find anything.
Yeah, my cup quite literally went flying.
Oh,
That's unfortunate.
Oh dear.
Yeah,
sorry to hear that.
I on the carpet with tea in it. Iced tea. Which I hate because iced tea is quite refreshing.
Oh.
There were casualties.
No more.
Oh. If possible, could you scoot a little closer to your microphone? You do sound quite distant.
Because I think because carpet emergencies.
Well, to be fair, I was cleaning up the mess.
Right.
Yeah.
Just when you can. Just. All right. All right. So.
Okay, I got that cleaned up.
Alrighty. So yeah, and Trisha just declared we'll build back stronger, and then you said yep, and then everything went wrong, and I wrote something absolutely horrible in chat that I now regret, but I will not delete it.
Wow.
All right.
Oh God.
Yeah. It's pretty.
I just read it.
Yeah, it's bad. Please don't say it. Please don't.
I'm pretty sure that's not even how chocobos work.
I don't know. It's not.
Yeah, that's not quite how they work.
I don't know how that biological function works, but
eggs.
anyway.
Oh dear.
You're
Look,
a
I'm so-
horrible DM.
I'm a great DM, but a horrible person, which fuels into being a great DM. But anyway, back to the game. So, with that, you do you have anything else in particular you want to say to them, or can we just kind of start to bleed into the next scene?
I guess we can bleed into the next scene after that real life chaos.
All right. So,
As a general cliff note, we don't need to act out the scene because we've kind of done it before. But we bring Tam and Laren to Bernard, and then leave them to their respects. And Nee's gonna go find a certain couple of sisters and catch up with them as well.
all right. And the days ahead will be very full of work in Marasu. Mika is adamant that the wedding can wait until at least some progress has been made on at least cleaning the city out. Properly rebuilding it is going to be a multi-decade process, but she wants to at least spend some
She's
time
not-
working on it at first, before anything else.
She's not gonna argue. It's not like they've already set a date for it.
Right? But following that, or rather at the same time as your work in Marasu begins in earnest, we cut away far to the south as Thanatos makes his way back to Kurzatan.
Oh boy.
I assume you bring Kyra with you?
Do you really think she'd let him go without her?
Indeed. It's a long trek. You stop briefly in Viala just to see how Fane's doing, and she's doing well in the aftermath of everything. Even briefly shares with you that she has plans to open up her own little business, to start working more on actual engineering shit, since there are rumblings under the hood that after the work of the fleet to hold back the Amber Tide and let you all win at the tower, King Theodore is apparently contemplating putting it into law to dial back some of the overbearing limitations on Magitech in his kingdom. As a sign of recognition of the good work Magitech can do. But after that, you eventually find yourself back in the Uzora Desert. And soon enough, you come over a small rest, a little crest in the rocky dunes, and up ahead you see Kurzatan. With some marks of damage, but not many. Just a couple little dings.
I was about to say, Kurzatan doesn't even have an under attack thing. Did they not?
Not much. The damage Kurzatan suffered is minimal compared to everywhere else.
Any particular reason why, especially with an amber field? just to the southwest.
The demons turned up, took one look at it, and oh fuck, this one's been done. And then moved off.
It more accurately, as you're sort of looking it over in the back of your head, you just kind of piece it together as you're first making your way into the city, that Kurzatan is in an incredibly well-defendable position, tucked into the rocky terrain, with about half of the city just straight up being underground, with linear, well-guarded routes to any point of particular interest. So the city was well able to defend itself. So only the above-ground portions really seem to suffer any notable damage. Specifically, you do see, as you're sort of coming in, that the castle at the very western end looks to have been imploded slightly, or rather completely. What once loomed over all of Kurzatan has now caved in and collapsed all over the westernmost sort of market point. Who just disappeared? Who did we lose?
I lost internet for like 3 seconds.
Ah, okay. But, so the castle collapsed, and there are a few points of smaller damage around the rest of the settlement, but in the underground sections and everywhere else, it seems that a very potent defense was put up to keep the demons at bay. But you only pay all of that cursory attention as you make your way into the Mudhole district and to the familiar burnt-out remains of an old house. Untouched by the chaos outside.
He just kind of stares at it for a bit.
Kyra doesn't say anything, but she does put a hand on your shoulder.
He looks back at her and just starts to walk towards the house, to the door.
And she goes with you. So, what in particular are you looking for?
Is there even a door? Is there even a door?
Yeah. Like, sort of hanging on a hinge, but it's there, as I recall. Like, your old burnt-out house is utterly untouched from the last time you were here.
And so he just walks in and I guess starts looking for anything that belonged to his family.
All right. It doesn't take you very long, but before long you do find in your old parents' room a small little box on a dresser, slightly burned but seemingly largely untouched, where what few meager possessions of actual high value your mother had she kept. Interestingly enough, it looks like no one came and stole from it. Maybe no one thought to pick through the remains of a burnt-out house. Or maybe just something just encouraged them to leave it be out of respect. Hard to tell which. But what few bits of jewelry your mother had are present and accounted for.
And anything from the father, or at least the picture?
Remind me what your father did again, specifically?
He was a servant for Chakal, or at least or he was a servant in the
Right.
Finale,
Right,
sorry.
right. Well, looking around for a little bit then, you do eventually find, kind of tucked under a pillow and smeared with a layer of soot, an old dagger that he kept for self-defense purposes. As far as you're aware, it never saw any actual use. Never had a chance to be used.
This'll do. And he tucks them both away in his bag and starts for the door again.
All right. As you're kind of walking out, Kyra lingers in the door for a second and then looks back inside and starts saying something quietly. It's up to you if you want to listen or not.
He listens.
I'm not really sure how this sort of thing works. But if any bit of you is still lingering around to hear this, your son's a goddamned hero. He's a guy worthy to be proud of. And I'm glad to know him. Just want y'all to know that.
She kind of pats the door frame and then turns to link back up with you.
Thanatos can't help but smile and just starts moving towards the cliff face up above the
Alright.
castle.
All right. Takes you a little bit to find a route up, but before long you find a nice cliff face overlooking the entire valley Kurzatane is situated in. And with some silent help from Kyra, you get a couple of grave markers arranged. I assume that the items you acquired are placed under the sand to serve as the graves.
I actually had a cool little idea for him.
Okay. It's up to you.
Intuitive magic. So he can't bury them. So he uses his stone spell to make kind of like a small like stone boxes in front of the markers and places the items inside.
Okay.
But before he puts the jewelry box in, he opens it up, and is there anything in particular that catches his eye?
A pearl necklace, perhaps the most expensive thing your mother had.
You really are Batman.
Thank you, knee in my head. He takes the necklace out and then puts the jewelry box in the stone casket or whatever you want to call it. It's just a little thing that's just big enough for the items.
Okay. All right.
And then writes their names into the markers, which I can't full on remember their names at this point.
That's fine. Once that is done,
think you'll be okay now?
He doesn't answer right away. He just gets on his knees in front of them. Mom, Dad, whatever's left of you out there, I hope that I can finally give you peace. I should have done this a long time ago. Just, I remember you always loved looking out into the sand and desert. Probably just why I'm so comfortable in the desert. Here you can look at it all day, all night, and no one will disturb you up here. None of the shit down there can touch you ever again.
bless you.
Bless you.
Thank you.
And I can't stay here. But maybe I can come here every year just to see you. And know that I made wonderful friends who are as much family to me now as you were. I wish you could have met them.
As you kind of say
hope
that,
you can be,
go ahead.
and I hope you can be proud even after all the bad I did.
And as you say that, there's a very gentle breeze that kind of washes over the cliff face. And it's very strange how it almost seems to sort of linger on just on your face for a moment. For a brief moment, it almost feels like there's a pair of hands just cradling it. It presses into you a little more firmly and then blows past you, sends your cloak drifting a little bit, and then falls still.
Goodbye. Can't help but cry a little.
As you start, Kyra gets down beside you and gives you a hug. All right.
And he just gets up and just holds out his hand like, let's get out of here.
You gonna be okay?
He kind of squeezes her hand. I think I'll be alright.
All right. Then let's go.
She helps you back to your feet, and side by side you walk away from the graves. Following this, some time begins to pass. Several months, indeed. And eventually, Neothil, you are called away from your work in Marasu by a message from Vitae. It's from your parents, from your family. They're ready to begin the process to get Emma what she needs to hold up their end of the deal. Is there anyone you want to bring with you on this trip? Aside from Mika, of course.
Oh, first, as much as it was Rocket's idea to do a bit of a voyeurism, I imagine Rocket will want to remain with the family.
Actually, I have a vested interest in this.
Oh,
Okay. All right.
in that
so-
case, you're free to accompany, and she's not. Nee isn't likewise not assuming that Mika's gonna come because this is her home that she's rebuilding, so she asks her, but
Mika's pretty adamant that, yeah, for this, she'll be along. You are her fiancé. And as much as she wants to focus on Marasu, you do take priority over that in her eyes.
and
Alright.
Our families will understand. I mean, we've been working on the housing for a while.
All right. So,
what's been done in the few months of
in Marasu, it's slow going, as not much of the original population survived to really work on the reconstruction. So it's heavily relying on a lot of relief efforts and paid construction crews from Lyrisai and volunteers from Poriton to help. But a lot of help from friends and allies you've made over the course of your journey show up every now and then to chip in, like Sid or Svane showing up via airship to lend some construction equipment or some advice on architecture.
While we're doing this, I'm also going to approach Marisi and Leyland, and along with, approach Marisi and Leyland and ask if they want to come on a trip to Vitae, see another city, and also since they're going to be the flower girls in the upcoming wedding, to start helping a bit with that.
Okay.
Future.
Yeah, sure. All right. Yeah, if you want to invite Marisi and Leyland, they're happy to come along.
Yeah.
and you make your way down
Haven't
south.
been beyond them. Couldn't understand.
So, Ni, Mika, Rocket, Marisi, and Leyland all head down south back to the city of Vitae. A lot of the signs of damage from the fighting there, at least the most minor bits, have already been cleared out. There are some lingering bits, but the worst of it is past. That is the wrong theme. I want Panara's. So. And eventually you find yourself back in the Athil Manor. Marisi and Leyland kind of split off for a little while to go and explore the city. Skalala volunteers to guide them. And you find yourself in the homeroom, the sort of central lounge space of the Ithil Manor, with Farron and Salika sitting across from you. Rania off to one side, now with a badass mechanical prosthetic leg under the knee. Panara is there. She's actually ditched her dark robes for the time being in favor of something more appropriate for where she now lives. And there's also
She's gonna be a black mage.
Yeah, well, she hasn't started those lessons yet. And you also see, if I can remember his name, yes, Salathiel Angeal, the white mage of Vitae, who is present because, Panara has lost her magic, so she can't actually do this now. But with some instruction, Rania nods you. What's up?
I see that. I see Nabart's done some work.
Yeah, it's... Honestly, it's really good, cool and all, but I can't feel jack shit in it.
Like she kicks the ground a couple times.
Yeah, no, I can't feel a thing. But more than that, it doesn't come with any cool new features. Like, there's not like a gun hidden in it that I can kick people with.
You do realize that the extra cool features that Rocket has are still illegal, right?
Yeah, I know, but still, how cool would that be to just, like, point my foot at someone and pow, their head explodes?
I mean, it is a metal leg. I'm pretty sure if you kick someone really hard.
Yeah, I know, but I gotta be careful, because this thing, it's not, like, the most durable thing in the world. If this gets, like, a dent or a break or something, I'm basically in a wheelchair until a mechanic can tidy it up.
Next time we spar, I'll try to keep that in mind and definitely won't cheat.
All that aside, this is Panara speaking up. We all know why we're here.
I switched to Emma for this bit.
Yep. As you kind of go to relinquish control to Emma, she sort of halts you in your sort of mental space before you shift out. And it's just you two in that expanse with the little window that shows what you see outside. And you see her there just kind of looking up at it, still in that really plain white dress she defaults to.
So, this is it, huh?
With a added whatever this ritual is going to entail, aside from the obvious I'd rather not think about.
And just for clarity, like...
Are you ready?
Like, for clarity, Salika is, like, at the prime time. You're just waiting for the go-ahead from Emma at this point.
Well, I imagine there's also magic stuff to do.
Yeah.
Are you ready to undergo this? Because after this is done, it will be your turn to have impressions and dreams. And that's all that will remain. Maybe the odd night of towers and demons and...
You ask me if I'm ready. You ask me if I'm ready, and I say, hell no. But I'm going to do it anyway. Cordial as we are, we can't keep going on like this forever.
I know. I know it needn't be said anymore, but I'm sorry about everything, the whole stealing your face,
It wasn't your fault.
No, but as glad as I am not to have died to my illness, there'll always be a little niggling part that remembers that when I look into a mirror, you're the one staring back. My face, my body is buried somewhere far from here.
This face and body is as much yours now
April.
as it is mine, if not more. Second hand, maybe, but you're the one who's lived the
What?
life.
Alright. You were there beside me from the start. Even if neither of us really knew it until Alistair went poking.
Sometimes I can't help but wonder what would have
I
happened if
will-
he hadn't. Would I have just stayed asleep?
I don't think so. He may have triggered it, but if he hadn't, something would have. I mean, my father, not so far behind. Unlocking Mama magic. Still, Emma, I believe you'll be keeping the name. You chose it. And soon, you get to retry. We'll make sure to fill you in on the details of those visions and dreams so you're not quite as confused as I was.
Yes, please, that was part of the deal. I want to know. I want to be told.
And you will. You'll remember in your own way, as I have. Still have flashes of home. That house. The Amber. Dad. I have a best friend across there somewhere who once nearly laid down her life for mine. What happened to her?
From what we've been told, she was saved by Gabrant at the last minute and then went on to keep living her life.
I wonder if she remembers me. Our time together.
I doubt she could ever forget, given how it ended.
Another reason to go to Vitae one day.
You mean to
One
Zalart?
day. Retcon, I said Zalart, shut up. Freudian slip.
Well, either way. I know I've said it before too, but I'm sorry I was such an ass at first.
You did just wake up, I'll forgive you for being grumpy. Still.
Well,
Sister. I look forward to spending more time with you outside of this place.
me too.
We're not coming back here again.
Just
Neither
make-
of us. I'll go.
Just make sure you're a good role model, okay?
I'm a Ralia Blackstorm, what could go wrong?
Please don't tempt fate. Now, one more thing. She kind of straightens herself up a bit. If we're gonna be sisters, might as well get ahead of the curve.
And then she steps right up to you and gives you a hug.
And, obviously.
All right.
Maybe you stole my life by accident,
Well then,
but by purpose you've saved it. And for that I thank you. See you on the other side.
well then, Emerithil. See you around, sister.
And then she just kind of fades out from your arms. And on the outside, Rocket, you blink her eyes for a second, then they open up again and they've turned to the green shade of Emma's.
All right, then. What all is this going to entail?
And then Angeal goes through the process of explaining the general steps, which for the sake of brevity I'll skim over. It's going to basically be an entire day-long process that'll require Neothil's body be pretty much under sedation the entire day.
Also, we earned some destiny from that fight, didn't we?
Yeah, when you defeated Diablos,
Yeah,
you got 30 points of
destiny.
destiny out of that.
We each did?
Everyone got 30 points of destiny because you
everyone.
killed a god and saved the world.
We could use that destiny to try and fuel.
Not
If we
quite
need to
how
roll
that
for it,
works.
but I doubt it.
Yeah, there's no roll required, and even then, that's not quite how it works. Unfortunately,
Is there a way to contribute that?
you don't really need to. Like with Panara's help and Angeal, like they've got it covered.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I was
once
going to say, if we absolutely need to, that would be an option.
after a few
need
minutes
to.
of sort of going over the details of the process, Emma nods her head and then looks over at you, Rocket.
And I suppose I should be thanking you for coming up with the idea, shouldn't I?
I mean, I recognize the gratitude.
Look, if you hadn't come up with the
not
idea...
quite.
If you hadn't come up with the idea, Nee and I probably would have stayed in conflict. And we'd both be dead now.
True.
So if I may make a really weird request...
And then Emma sort of turns towards Farron and Salika.
Seeing as Rocket's idea is the very thing that permitted this to happen, can I request she gets named the Godmother?
Farron and Salika look at each other for a second, and Farron's like, if she's all right with that.
I'm alright with it.
All right. All right. Are you ready then?
Nope. Let's do it.
And then Salika just kind of grins.
That's my girl. Yeah. Guess I am.
And let's go fix my mistake, Emma. And over the course of the next day, the process begins. Emma is put under magically induced sleep for the entire process to reduce any chances of anything going wrong. And with some coaching from Panara, gradually, by midnight, Neothil, you feel a tingling in your slumber. And then a certain fullness, or rather, more spacious. And you realize that you hadn't realized it until now, but your mind, indeed your very body, had felt cramped, stuffed to the bursting point. And you just feel so much more, not empty, but spacious. And a little tingling that had been somewhere deep in your heart all this time is quiet. And the next morning when you
A
awake,
little bit more lonely, I imagine.
a little bit, perhaps. But it's weirdly familiar, in a strange way. And you realize you're remembering what it felt like to be Auralia, if only a little bit. To be one soul in one body. And And you are told, when you wake up, that the process was a complete success. There were no complications. The only thing to be watching out for is the fact that, much like you when you were a toddler, Emma is probably going to have absurdly good memory for someone her age. If not better than you did.
And said dreams and visions.
And just the general maturity of her soul in the first place. Bits of it will escape, as the body she's been put into can't house all of it, but the majority of her will remain.
What memory she does have will give context to.
That occurred, I want to say, about 4.5 months, about halfway into said pregnancy.
Are we about to switch to another scene?
Yes. If there's anything else you want to say, now's the time.
Just before we do, one night when needs sleep, using what's left of whatever techniques Panara taught her, you can try and lucid dream, kind of take control of her dream at one point. I'm just going to blank space the amber stars. Not particularly fancy. A mirror in front of her, and in the reflection is going to be the same age as her, 22 years physically, pale skin, blue hair, what Aurelia would have looked like. What I would have looked like had the switch not happened. Just kind of study it for a minute. Just smile at herself. And go back to her normal dreams.
And as you smile at Aurelia, she smiles back. And now we move on to the next scene.
I think she's quite at ease with herself now.
Alright. Over the coming months following this, Thanatos, you and Kyra take on numerous jobs. Just usual things. Going around, doing work, kicking bad guy butt. The usual.
As we do.
It kind of falls into a routine, but then, well, one day, in Viala, you had something you want to address with Kyra, don't you?
So, after a long day of whatever it was, probably killing something horrible.
We'll say it was taking out a baby behemoth. Or not baby, but like an adolescent before it could get big enough to be a problem.
An adolescent.
Is this going to be a not the brave manticore situation?
Uh-huh. And just walking in town, slightly battered, but nothing too much. It's like, reminds me of that behemoth back near Kurzatan.
You fought a behemoth back near
That one
Kurzatan?
blinded me for a bit. Yeah. Yeah, the Vinaldis tried to feed us to it.
Dicks?
That they were. But we managed to get out there mostly unscathed.
Nice.
And Kyra
So I got to see just
And Kyra kind of staggers over a little bit and sort of leans up against a lamppost, hand on her hip.
Hey, you alright?
Yeah, just... the old spine injury acting up.
Shakes her head a little bit.
I keep acting like it's not there, but sooner or later I push myself too hard, that's gonna break again. I might have to retire early.
All right.
Great.
Come on, no talk about that. This, you know what this calls for?
A drink?
Maybe a little later. I was thinking a nice dinner, like something other than that stuff they serve at the tavern.
Oh, really? We're on the road so much you don't often get a chance to take me on a proper date.
Yeah.
Alright. Where were you thinking?
Found a nice little. I found this nice little place. Not too expensive, but food's pretty good. Nothing too fancy either.
Yeah, it's fine.
So you do not want to see me in a suit.
Yeah, it's fine by me. If something gets too fancy, it starts giving me a headache.
Same.
It's like I'm ingesting someone else's ego, and I already have enough of my own to deal with.
Same.
Somewhere near Phil sneezes.
So,
All right.
shall we go?
So you take Kyra to the place, and indeed it is very nice. As you get yourselves situated and start eating your food, very lovely evening. Plenty of chatter, plenty of laughter, a couple of jokes directed back towards the friends who are not with you right now. Just making some fun of them now that they're here to not get back at you for it.
The best times.
The best times. As the meal sort of goes on, Kyra looks off to one side.
Yeah, I like this. Could eat at places like this more often.
Yeah. I'd say as far as places go, Viala's not that bad, is it?
Yeah, very vertical. Has a lot of dragoons.
So
Still
you
kinda-
feel right at home?
Yeah, still kind of miss the Galleon dragoons, though. So your trip to go from Emelion to Garlat, let me tell you. I don't know.
I bet.
I don't know. Maybe someday I'll go back there.
So,
Okay, out with it. I know what that look means.
I know we've been going around places a lot, but there's a lot of work here,
Mm-hmm.
and place isn't all that bad. The lake, the forest.
I could think of worse places. Of course it's him.
Same. Much as I miss the desert, it wouldn't be that much of a trip just to go out and get my feet in the sand again.
I mean, hey, if you want sand in your boots, there's a beach right there.
And she gestures in the direction of the lake.
Yeah, beach sand and desert sand, it's not quite the same. And, well, last few nights I was talking to some people. Apparently our names have gone around for a bit.
Well, I mean, yeah, you saved the bloody
And-
world. Should hope so.
You were part of it too.
Yeah, but I was kind of absent for the big actual finale.
Kicking Tiamat's butt, riding Bahamut.
Yeah, but you know, I mean,
How many dragoons can say they rode the god of dragons?
point taken. But anyways, you were saying?
So, yeah, as I was saying, I was talking to some people, and with my reputation and others, especially apparently, again, also being Ramu's chosen, I guess, kind of got me some credit with the man in charge here, so
Yeah, and the Moogles all over the world have kind of been singing your praises about that. Especially
Wow.
back at the Mongol
Moogles.
I
Arcade.
love it's the Moogles.
So
Champion of the Moogles, Kupo!
I actually was thinking of buying a house here.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah. I say I haven't really had a home since, well, you know. And out of all the places we were and been to, I think this was a nice place to just have a place to always come back to. Not saying I want to stop traveling, but just always nice to have some place to call home.
Place to call home, huh? Haven't had one of those myself for a while. Room for one more?
He kind of grabs her hand. Beat me to it.
That's 'cause I know you so well. Well then, show me the place, Papa Wolf.
And then, like, before, like, you can get any words in edgewise, she just kind of leans across the table and whispers in your ear.
And yeah, if you keep going at this pace, Papa's gonna be literal someday.
She just pats you playfully on the cheek and leans back with this coy smirk.
Right. Place. Yes. Right, it's on the other side of town.
Well, let me finish my food and I can take care of that too.
Oh. Kyra, we've talked about this.
I'm giving you warning this time.
Oh, which I am very appreciative of, but still, especially after a meal, I think my poor stomach is going to be rather cross.
Oh, fine. Killjoy.
Hey, that's Neophil.
And you. When you two are together, you're an absolute joy.
Eh, she's alright to be around, I guess.
Oh, come on, don't be coy. You know she's your best friend.
Yeah.
We aren't going to be there for her wedding, right?
Well, I mean, that'd be kind of a dick move for me not to show up.
Right? Alright then. Let's go and take care of that.
Considering your best man.
Alright, I gotta be right back. Someone's knocking at my door.
Yes, the best man just doesn't show up.
Like, yeah, I got better things to do, Nee.
Now, isn't he, little shit? Anyway, things are looking good for Cassandra's future existence.
Doesn't it?
Okay, I'm back.
Oh, you. Let's get started soon. Nee and me are already on a head start.
So, yes, as they're walking out the door into the street, Thanatos decides to throw caution to the wind after the whole, like, living together thing, and just pulls her into a kiss.
Yes!
Alright, Kyra does not fight it. Then when you pull away, she just kind of gives you this sort of smirk and is like,
Took you long enough. And the puppy officially
been
becomes a wolf. All right. Show me to the den.
And with an arm around her waist, takes her to the new place.
All right. Next up, after some more work is done, eventually things in Marasu are proceeding apace. And before long, the very specific day finally arrives. Neothil, where do you and Mika have your wedding?
We really should talk about this before.
Yeah, probably should have.
What's the... Imagine Marathi was still in quite the state at this point.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's out.
As you're kind of like discussing it, I will have Mika point out that like, just in terms of like a purely practical standpoint, having the wedding in Marasu, even in its current state, might be a very nice sort of like a morale boost to the people rebuilding it.
Yeah, back.
Okay.
I take it... Well, the castle... I imagine much of the debris has been cleared at this point, and then most of the people living in tents, but they're starting to construct basic shelters and rudimentary...
Yeah, it's still very basic. It's still very basic, but it is in the works, yes.
So you got the walls, you got the castle pretty much complete, and then you got the odd wooden building and plans and layouts and roads for where future ones will be. In that case, we're going to, in the long preparation beforehand, we're going to try and rent out the castle for Baron.
All right. So, working on that, you get the castle rented out, and just straight up, like, Tim and, like, everyone else there is like, yeah, you can just have it for this. Our thanks. By all means.
All right.
All right. So, and I assume
Do you
you
have any
call
space large enough
all
for
the
this
rest,
as,
and you call all the rest of the party to it?
Indeed. Marisi and Leyland are the flower girls, the bridesmaids on Nee's side, and who Mika's going to choose. We're going to go back to the DM, because it's Mika's choice. But bridesmaids on Nee's side is going to be Galala and Rania, who is going to be wearing a bridesmaid's dress. She has no choice, she's getting emotionally blackmailed.
Okay.
Can you wear that with a leg?
Yeah. Like, the leg is the same size as her original leg, it's just made of metal and servos. So yeah, she can manage that. As for Mika's bridesmaids, that's a good question. Any suggestions?
There's not a whole...
Rocket.
Rocket, if Rocket's okay.
Sorry, I'm back. I had to use the bathroom.
It's all right. We've gotten
I'm
to
back.
the
I
end.
just had to use the bathroom.
Yeah, we've got to Nia and Mika's wedding, and Mika's trying to figure out who she wants the bridesmaids to be. You were just suggested as one of them.
I mean, I could. And
Okay.
her sister should definitely be in the grouping.
Yeah. Ronnie and Skalala are Nia's bridesmaids, but Mika has her own bridesmaids.
There are two brides.
Yeah, but what about Nee's sisters?
They're Nia's
That's Ronnie and
bridesmaids.
Scott.
Yeah, and then if you talk about also Marisi and Leyland, the kids who she takes shine to, they're the flower girls.
Okay.
Okay.
Just
I
making
mean-
sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I guess
Rocket.
Kyra can go.
Okay. Rocket and Kyra. Kyra has no objections. All right.
Kyra gets to wear ceremonial armor just because Rania will squirm all them all.
Yep. So Kyra
And
basically.
I guess Rocket could wear the soap. Well, they haven't really gone to a store to buy anything, so there's no guarantee she would even have the Sophie
I mean,
set.
This is all like we're talking about like all the preparation and like the months beforehand. But
yeah.
everything.
It's like if you have like a specific
Okay,
outfit you
so
want
she
Rocket
does
to
have
have, she
that.
just So Rocket
we
has what
rented
now?
out.
The Sophie barding, which
I'm
I
un-
think is actually kind of appropriate for this.
I'm unfamiliar with that.
I think
I'll have to look up a picture of it.
what the one from 14.
14, yeah.
And for the bit you missed, the wedding's taking place in Marasu Castle.
Maybe without the big golden thing, but
Either way, as it is,
hold on.
since I have basically no familiarity with how weddings work aside from only one that I attended in person a long time ago, we're kind of gonna not go into like hyper detail here.
Just the important bits that like everybody knows about.
Well, obviously, wedding guests, pretty much all the people we met in our adventures, our families, all going to be there. I imagine at this point, he's going to find out that there are some other Solwins around. Because,
Yep. And
That
also,
can-
and like at this point,
Let
it's
it
been,
in.
and just as a point of order, it has been several months since you defeated Diablos and saved the world at this point. And Rocket, you're starting to show.
Yep.
It's
Oh
not
yeah,
one
there's no hiding it at this point.
Yeah. So, as it is, and who do you want to conduct the ceremony? As a point of order, Panora volunteers.
That. Yeah, we'll give it to her.
All right.
Unless
Let-
Mika has objections, because again, it's not just Nee's wedding. You do well.
All right. Mika has no objections. No one else has any. Like, just about everyone who's fully acquainted with Panora's situation, like, yeah, let her have this win. She deserves it. She's been through enough. All right.
There are 2 empty seats left out. One is for Gabranth, who can't be here for obvious reasons, and the other one is for Vanar.
Right. Well, either way.
Yeah.
So,
Decorations wise, a mix of Dakotan and Vitaean styles, and the odd book here and there.
all right.
And where would the Alasaya and Athena be?
Guess. No lie.
Aratos is the best man. Alisa can be the ring bearer,
Sure. Okay.
and then Athena's a guest. You're +1.
Of course.
All right.
She is number 1.
All right. So, as you're all sort of gathering together for this, the ceremony goes in, and those last sort of like few minutes before like people start walking down the aisle or whatever, like Nee, we'll have you be in one of the dressing rooms here. How's Nee feeling in
Nee's
those last
dressed.
moments?
Well, first, Nee's dress, she was initially somewhere tempted to wear a dress uniform, but
There's always a but.
she offered instead to go full traditional wedding dress because she's got to admit that she's a woman at some point.
All right.
Full wedding dress, but with a typically knee blue tint to it.
All right.
Ah.
And Mika, I imagine, will go similar route, but with her own coloration and her own stylings.
Indeed, Mika goes red for hers, you're aware. Though she does also state that she
Of
apparently
course.
has some sort of like a little tiny surprise that she got some help weaving into it, but she won't tell you what it is and it's bothering you. But either way,
It's here because it's bad luck.
Nee also under the dress has a little hole for Storm because, of course, she's going to carry Storm. She has to be bloody macho size.
right.
That thing.
It's like something bad is going to happen. I must be prepared.
Well, either way.
Yeah, she can carry Storm with her.
And so, in those last couple of minutes before you go down the aisle to go to finally tie yourself together, you're in that dressing room in those last couple of minutes. Salika is helping finalize everything. How is Nee feeling?
I imagine. Hey, so, you sure the bouquets came in alright?
Yes, they're fine, Neothel.
And has Dad stopped crying in the corner yet?
Yes, your dad has stopped crying.
You sure? Because he stopped crying and he starts crying again. It's really kind of distracting.
Yeah, well,
You know, maybe... I feel like... Sure, something always happens. Like there's going to be a big god attack or something, and
Shh,
there's a window in there.
Nee.
Okay.
This happens to everyone.
I face down the god of darkness. I love Mika. We've been through so much. Why can't I get out down that aisle? What's wrong with me? Am I dying?
If you keep her waiting too long, you just might. Well, tell me this. What is scarier, Neothil? Waiting back here and invoking her wrath? Or just going out there and doing the thing you asked her to do in the first place?
You make a very compelling argument.
I got married once too, you know?
Yeah. Yes, you did. Did he cry then too?
There were a lot of tears on all parts of the equation. Who'd have thought that our youngest would get married before any of the others?
Yeah. Wow.
Then Salika kind of
quite
lets
the
one of her,
journey.
and then Salika kind of lets her hand sort of hover over her belly for a minute, and she frowns slightly.
Just wish one could get to see it. But you'll get to hear the
Oh, I'm
stories.
sure she's... who knows, maybe before the birth she's swimming around in that little mind space still, just watching through her window and getting impatient.
It's at about this point that the music outside starts to blare, indicating that time to get into motion. What was that?
That was Thanatos knocking.
All right.
Oh,
Okay.
alright, time to get this underway. You ready? Of course you're not.
No, but... Amber's fading. I'm just hoping that... No, nothing will go wrong if it doesn't. I'm just hoping that there's just enough ambient left for one last little trick of mine own. I'll see.
Alright.
The
Go
door
get her.
opens a crack. It's time.
Gives her a
She hasn't tried to run away yet, has she?
No,
Shut
she's
up,
fine.
Thanatos.
I talked her out of it before she could pull out her dad.
He ran.
He almost tried to. And then his mom almost kicked the shit out of him for it, so...
I'm lucky, I guess. And I mean that. I really am lucky.
Yes, you are. Now go get her.
Thank you. Thank you, Mum. For picking me up out of that box.
Picking you both up.
And she gives you a warm hug
Now then.
and then ushers you towards the door.
Tick tock, knife ears.
This
All right.
best man.
All right.
Your wedding.
And out you go into the... It was once the throne room of Marasu Castle that's kind of been repurposed for this event. Plenty of seats stationed all around, decorations up top, music being played, and as you look around you can just see all of the various faces of the people you met along the journey that you invited. It's a lot of people, and basically all of them look very happy to be here. Now, because I don't know, someone clarify for me real quick. In the event of a lesbian wedding, do both brides come out at the same time, or does one of them just like assume the role of just waiting at the altar for the other one, or what? What's the deal here? Because I have no
I am
fucking
not
clue.
Sure. I am not sure.
It's
I'm
a fantasy setting, so it doesn't need to be exact. So we'll say that one comes out first, and then the other comes out second.
I say Neat goes first, and then Mika comes in
We
second.
probably flip the coin, and he's going out first.
Okay. All right. So,
We rolled a d20.
so yeah, as the tides of luck decided, you go first. And it's only a short time after you've arrived at the altar that Mika emerges, guided by her own father in this case, as the mother's already in the stands. And as she's approaching, you see the wedding dress Mika chose for herself, and it's pretty much what you were expecting. This beautiful red dress. Very nice. Kind of simple, but elegant. But there are a couple of small details that strike you as being not what you were expecting. Around, like, the shoulders and the neckline, there's this sort of silvery fur mantle of sorts. And a few darker blue, almost black sort of accents around, like, the hemlines and the edges that immediately strike you as being reminiscent of Panara's usual appearance.
The Lauren kind of designs.
Yeah.
Nee glances at Panara as if to say, "What did you do?"
Panara just kind of smiles. Doesn't say anything for the moment. Mika comes up and gives you a little look.
You look good.
You look beautiful.
She kind of plays idly with some of the fur around her neck.
Well, shall we?
I guess we shall.
And Mika turns to Panara. Panara gives a little smile, and then, since I don't have this sort of stuff memorized in my head, and because you two are so high on hormones and emotions that it probably just kind of goes over your heads anyway, Panara begins going through the speech for the ceremony. And it's kind of by the number, you get the impression. She volunteered to do this, but you get the impression that she realized about halfway through that she doesn't actually know how weddings in this culture work, so she had to frantically study up on it last minute. And so it's basic, but it works. And ultimately, it's more just set dressing for the main attraction, which is you and Mika yourselves. And eventually, the last few words go through, and you are given the usual instruction.
Nee, first in the ceremony, slips on Mika's wedding ring, which is
The Ashen Tear Stone ring.
yeah. Oh, the Ashen Tear Stone moved on to a new ring, this wedding ring.
Right.
One that's God, much like the dress, has a vaguely reddish hued band, like depending on the light you're looking, shifts between silver and red.
Alright.
And Mika, much the same. When it's her turn, Alyssa gives her the ring, slips on. Obviously not an Ashen Tear Stone because there's only one,
Indeed.
but still.
And to sort of
bright
act and to
blue gem
white and blue gem. Alright.
ring can make, but blue instead of red. And then, as Nara gives the "You may kiss the bride," and they start to lean in, the back of Nee's mind, she falls upon that small bit of residual amber she has left, powered not by hate, anger, desperation in the moment of a fight, but the joy, satisfaction, the relief, the happiness that she feels in this moment. Her eyes, as they slowly close as she leads into the lid, glow a soft amber. Her skin pales slightly. The very ends of her hair, small bit of blue, and out of the back come the blue feathery wings as they kiss.
Oh,
There's a sort of assembled gasp of surprise from the crowd as this happens, but it's only a momentary silence before the, as per to be expected, the applause comes shortly after.
what a show off.
And that's a wedding.
And I imagine as the kiss comes to an end, so does the last use of Blackstorm.
Yep. It only lasts for a few seconds. But soon enough, the feathery wings sort of... And like this last little moment, sort of like wrap it around both you and Mika, and sort of like this hug, and it just kind of... The wings swirl as they disappear into mist and energy that then disperses into sparkles that drift out the windows. And over the course of the rest of that day...
Mika.
Yep. And if you've got anything else to say?
We have the ensuing after party. Imagine much merriment is had. Good times. Thanatos probably gets put to sleep at some point.
Yeah.
Why?
Because it's
I'm
you.
sure you.
Alasar is looking around for Pinchy again because his mother brought him along.
Oh,
Of course.
Oh,
God damn it, not again.
But yeah, all in
Mingle
all,
with the guests, people like Kelgor and all others we met throughout that one-time age from Garlat. Silvar will be there.
Hey, DM.
yes.
Who got the bouquet?
Who got the bouquet?
They don't throw it in the wedding as the reception is winding down to its end. They have a bouquet. Well, they each had a bouquet, though. But at some point, they combine the two into one rather large one, and together they hold on to it after the announcement. And backs turned to the crowd. 1, 2, 3. Together, they throw it behind them.
And as for who catches it, we'll say Kyra.
Oh god.
Because she cheats and uses jump to go get it.
Good.
I'll be around for your wedding too, Thanatos.
Fuck.
and then when
You're
Kyra...
obligated now.
Go ahead.
No, that was all she said. Just you're obligated now.
Kyra grins. Yeah. Then she kind of redivides the joined bouquet as she's heading back to Thanatos and passes by Athena on the way and slaps the bouquet onto her chest as she's passing, leans over and whispers just loud enough for Alistair to hear, "Give him hell."
He's whizzing a bit.
Thanatos and Alistair just share a look. We're screwed.
And-
Probably.
And then as things are winding down, certain people are being carted off drunkenly to rooms. Need looks over everyone at her parents, all three that are present.
Mhm.
Friends made along the way, Fane, Bart, Elizabeth, Sid, Biggs, Wedge. Turns to the rest of the party, and to Kyra. Not Kyra, Mika. So, I believe our chariot is waiting. What say we grab these lugs and go for a flight, one last adventure, before married life takes hold?
I like the sound of that.
And you know I've been dying to fly it since we just got it.
All right. Yeah.
Now remember, Thanatos, do not puke on this flight. It's a very wholesome moment.
Yes, I just got it back, and if you do, I will throw you overboard.
I'll have you know that I'm better with flying, not by choice, as he glances over at a certain room.
Kyra just gives an evil laugh.
You gave him flying lessons.
Let's just say your stomach gets used to being hurled through the air.
I gave him a crash course. Emphasis on crash.
Oh, you'll break him yet. So, warriors of light and darkness, where to?
Wherever you wish.
Yeah, just pick a direction. See what we find, what trouble we can find.
There's somewhere on this continent we haven't been to yet. Let's roll the dice, shall we?
Yes. Who knows? We might find new species that we don't know about.
Let's go see what's out there. And gonna lead all the others to board the Little Wing 2.
Yep. An enhanced design, slightly modified from the original, if only to make it sleeker and more durable, with a few customized notes you requested personally, but otherwise it is more or less the same ship. You all climb aboard, and taking the familiar wheel in your hands, feeling the brand new wood of the wheel, take a second, make at your side, just kind of attached to your arm. Give each other a little smile, and then, with a little tug on a lever, the engines of the Little Wing 2 thrum into life, and soon enough, it flies off into the distance. Several months later, a solid 14 months after the defeat of Diabolos, Rocket, where would you like your eggs to be?
Hold on, just a sec. Just as a side note, she did go see the gods at some point shortly before this.
Right. They're still slumbering.
Do you
So
want
mostly
the gods
just
to be present?
they're in their slumber right now, but you kind of went
Yeah.
and visited them all the same. So,
Okay.
where would you like your eggs to be?
Frankly, probably Marasu with everyone she's close to visiting.
Okay.
Because it's about that time.
All right.
Because they pretty much all know at that point.
Yeah, like you kind of
They've
informed
known
everyone.
for like a month.
Yeah, you informed everyone shortly after the wedding that one of Phoenix's acts, the little boon she gave you, was to place eggs inside of you for you to nurture and grow, and to raise when the chicks hatched. So, with your permission, do you mind if I have where you have the eggs not be in the city proper, but be somewhere outside of it, just a little ways?
Yeah.
All right. So,
Yeah, that's fair.
yeah, you have
Keeps
this.
it out of the way of people working on the system.
Keep it out of the way, and keep it hidden from those who might want to do it harm. Only those you've told know where to look to find them. And as you're all sort of called in, knowing that the time is almost arrived, you find this tucked away little hovel. Not hovel, but like a custom-made cave, sort of dug into the side of a cliff face in one of the forested regions of Marasu as the trees are slowly starting to come back to life. Encouraged, in part, by Vis, of all people, who began exploring and helped to rejuvenate the life around the isle with her green magic. And inside, there are a few shafts of sunlight coming through. Everything has a few layers of moss, a few drifting motes of dust, but it's all very serene. If any of you have played Ori and the Blind Forest, it's kind of like Naru's home. Everything is very soft. And in the very back, tucked away, 4 eggs lie nestled in a little nest. And slowly but surely, those eggs begin to tremble and crack. And one by one, they begin to peel open. And with each one, a new face emerges. 4 tiny creatures. One with, I believe, yellow feathers, one with red, one with black, and one with blue. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
As they poke their heads out of their shells and look up at you, starting to chirp and squeak. What would you like to name them?
I'm naming them after the 4 loves, of course.
All right. Let me just,
So adorable.
So let me see if I can find those names in chat.
Sorry about that. I went on a meme posting spree during the campaign.
It's fine. Let's see here. Where was it? So, one by one, you look to each of the phoenixes in turn and name them thusly. Storge. Storge, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Philia,
George.
Eros, and Agape. And as you give them these names, they seem to like them, chirping and cheering and letting out their calls to the world. And, as such, with Phoenix's legacy restored to the world, in these 4 little chicks, their cries echoing across the world, does the tale of the Warriors of Light come to its end. In the days ahead, the tide walls that have lain around the edges of the various continents will slowly begin to collapse, allowing the various continents and various peoples to reunite with one another after centuries and millennia divided. There will be conflicts and struggles and challenges in the days ahead, of course, but mankind shall face them as they always have. The amber has gone dark and dead, but the life that Phoenix breathed into it to rejuvenate the land swells at an unprecedented rate, bringing new unknowns into a world that had long been thought to be fully explored. But those discoveries, and the challenges that follow in their wake, is a story for another time. For though this Chronicle of Eno has reached its end, there might yet be more to tell in the future. Stories of hope, of revenge and redemption, resolve, stories of rebirth. But that will be for another time. And when that story is told, I hope you'll all come and listen with us one more time. But until then, thanks for coming out with me, guys. Thanks for playing this game with me. And to those of you who listened, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye, everyone. I hope you enjoyed.
See you in
Bye-bye.
Until next
100.
time.
See you in 100 years.
How long?
500 years.